in the pain, red as UV, blasting through the night. His anger erupted, fueled by a sick delight. Loud beats pulsating, shaking his fragile core. His feeble heart trembles, can't take it anymore. A gun in his glove box, loaded with despair. His twisted mind surrendering to the devil's snare. Echoes of blood-stained night in the face of darkness. We unite from the ashes. We rise above. Violence will never silence our love. Snatch the air, echoes of disdain. Michael Dunn, the coward, couldn't stand the pain. The man assuming the silence rings through the air. Young life extinguished. It's just not fair. Gunshots and symphony, echoes of pain, hatred and anger is night. Innocence lost, a life torn apart. Tragedy sears like a brand on hearts. Echoes of blood-stained night in the face of darkness. We unite from the ashes. We rise above. Violence will never silence our love.
Well, Cymax and Midler's used him hot pockets. Screams at the screen trolls, knocking on his sockets. Internet's a beast, claws out and ferocious. Cries about the trolls, man, it's atrocious. Fuck that. Music is Marty playing Puppet Master. Ruin Cyrax's life, moving a little faster. Cyrax cries the same old lines, lost in the cyberspace trenches deep in the mines. In this Marty, music is Marty playing Puppet Master. Ruin Cyrax's life, moving a little faster. Cyrax cries the same old lines, lost in the cyberspace trenches deep in the mines. In this Marty, keyboard warrior screaming hate. Empty voids, his endless fate. Electric screams ring so loud, man lost in a digital cloud. Don't leave salad. Eyes red and swollen from staring at the screen. Haunted by the trolls, man, it's obscene. Echoes of laughter in the cyberspace night. Digital shadows where he lost the fight. Well, gee, music void, ain't nobody listening. Broken shards of a life to listening. Trolls circling like hungry wolves. Feast on the chaos, internet goes. You said no sneaky shit, Marty. Keyboard warrior screaming hate. Empty voids, his endless fate. Electric screams. a digital cloud. Warrior screaming hate, empty voids, his endless fate. Electric screams rage so loud, man lost in a digital cloud. Don't leave silent, digital cloud. Don't leave silent, digital cloud. Don't leave silent, don't leave silent, don't leave silent.
You're listening to FFOP Radio.
Reach the
Hey everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Dave. This is FFOP Radio. Welcome to it. It's Flamingo Friday, as it usually is. Chris, my co-host and producer, is right there off camera.
I am right here.
So this is a little bit exciting because so much to touch upon. Because, okay, obviously you probably saw the title card. You know what's going on. We're doing the Michael Dunn cross-examination. So we got to see his interrogation footage where he eventually got to the police station after the back to the hotel room to walk the dog, the pizza, the several more rum and cokes, and then talking to his friend, the agriculture
Oh, yeah,
agent?
the law enforcement
right there,
officer.
off camera. Right.
Yes.
It's always off camera.
Always off camera. Except for when I'm not.
This computer overheats because there's already a lot of stuff plugged into it, and another camera is like a little...
It's a lot.
It's a step too far, so I have to like do a lot of shuffling. We'll get to it one day. Don't worry about it. Anyway, the reason why I like getting both slices of this pie is that we get to see, we got to see anyway, if you saw the Michael Dunn interrogation with us or on your own, the story he came up with on his own, right? Like when given his own time and energy and like forethought, he goes, okay, it was a gun. Failing that, I'll say it's a stick. But I just kept shooting as they drove away, right? And I'll just say it was rap music. I'm white. There were 3 black kids. Like he's just like really gonna lean into the undesirable aspects of it all and just be like, I felt threatened. Like for whatever reason, when dudes buy a gun, there must be like half the gun stores out there. Like they give them a wink and they slide them a card across the counter and they just say, I felt threatened, implied. But he thought he could skate and, no.
It's a gun that shoots sticks. So can we give, just so that everybody else is aware of what this was, because I may or may not remember. This is the guy who went to the convenience store. His girlfriend went into the place like after his son's wedding.
If you need the Cliff Notes, Michael Dunn was in Orlando, I think, for his son's wedding. Got toasted. He's an angry dude who likes to carry a gun around to make his nuts feel heavy. Mm-hmm. Some kids were having a loud music session in a gas station parking lot that he saw and was aware of because he knew and pulled up right next to them while the music was blaring. We'll get to it in the cross-examination because this isn't an interrogation. Shot him. One kid passed away. Super tragic, and all because like he had too many Jack and Cokes and wanted to like impress Rhonda or whatever her name was when she gets back to the truck with the Boone's farm.
The lady.
Oh, but
Kay.
So we're gonna see like how a failure, because you don't ever want to go up on the stand because then you get shit like this happening to you. Cross-examination. Same thing happened to Nancy Brophy. Mm-hmm. Like no matter how good you think you could come off indirect via your own lawyer who wants to butter you up like a Sunday brunch to the jury, like the prosecutor is going to tear into you like a honey badger through a roll of brawny. Like you're not going to stand a chance. And that's what Michael here does. He gets snotty. He's just a real pain in the ass to deal with where, and that's the thing. He's going to do this despite the fact that he can see the jury. He knows they're there and he's going to do all these snotty little comments. But here's the thing I love about this interrogation too, just like not to spoil too much of it. the prosecutor laughs so much out loud during this. I keep wanting to call it interrogation. That's what he used to do. During this cross-examination, he laughs audibly so loud. It tickles me so, and I hope you also enjoy
I
it.
liked, with Brophy's too. He laughed also, but obviously probably not as much as this guy.
He laughed like out of astonishment, like when she admitted, like the same gun because they don't fit. And he's like, "Whoa!" Like this guy just is laughing because like he sees Michael Dunn stepping in pile after pile of dog shit on his walk home from work, and he keeps telling him like, it's all over the road, man. Watch out!" But Michael just plows ahead, so I'm going to be in the way for a little bit, but then I'll be out of it.
Mr. Guy, cross-examination.
Buckle up, people. Oh my God, I love this.
Mr. Dunn, you love Rhonda Rauer,
Yes, sir, I do.
right? You love her a lot,
Help me, Rhonda.
right?
Yes, sir, I do.
And you loved her back then, correct?
I love her today.
November
love her always.
23rd, 2012, you were in love with her.
Yes, sir.
You cared about her.
Yes, sir.
Right, and when she got into that car, she asked you what happened, right?
Yes, sir.
Hey, thanks, Landon Breeden. I like that name.
Landon.
Thank you so much.
Lady-o.
And you told this story and explained it to her, right?
Just stop by.
Yes, I did.
And
Stop by.
she, as you said, was a
He loved her
wreck,
first.
right?
Yes, she was.
Because she
You
knew.
did. I loved her first. Do you think he? Oh my God, Ryan! Do you think that he sang that like karaoke style at his son's wedding?
Oh my God.
Like he sang that to Rhonda, and like they're both in their 60s, like it's their third or fourth marriage. How tone deaf!
Knew that you had just fired into a car with human beings inside.
She doesn't understand self-defense, but you are right. She was very upset over what I had done.
Right, right. And so
Stiven, welcome, Maxwell.
Stivine.
This is another thing. Stivine. This is another thing I want to point out because, like, because we get to see this a lot in the interrogation where there's two parties involved. Like, I don't know what they're saying, but blah, blah, blah. This is when that shit hits the fan also. Like, he's going to have to backpedal and make Rhonda seem incompetent only in specific places, much like the memory losses that most people have, like 8 seconds before and after and everything in between of like a murder they commit.
Yeah. She doesn't understand self-defense.
Yeah, she's just a hysterical woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What is up, Tony?
Hey,
Welcome.
Tony.
And that's just, this is like a light version of that because like there are ones where like they're basically flat out calling each other, the murder like in open court across from each other in each of their trials. But this is like, because he still wants to get with her or be with her afterwards, so he's got to like sugarcoat it. But I'm sure he needs to like his defense attorney, who I guarantee said, "Don't get on the stand, Michael. Mm-hmm. I know this prosecutor, and he's gonna laugh at you."
So
Scott told
you
me.
guys were together for 3 miles.
Looking
and
for
she
work.
was hysterical?
Crying, yes.
Right. You did not tell her during that 3 miles anyone pointed any weapon at you, did you?
I think I did. I think I was very clear that they threatened my life. I was very clear that they came out of their car advancing upon me. And whether she comprehended what I was saying, I couldn't say.
Right?
My question was,
She was on her period.
It's hysterical. Like, you fire a gun around a woman and her uterus falls out and she goes insane. And then you got to explain things to her in monosyllabic words, right, guys? I mean, everybody's fired a shotgun into the air just to like spook your wife back into the barn.
So her uterus falls out.
But here's another thing that I wanted to like, this is going to be a bad reference, but like if this lands for you, then great. But this is like if Alfalfa grew up to like become just like a drunk, like garage dwelling caveman. Like he's got the same haircut. He just needs the little pop up in the back.
boy, did you tell her they had a weapon of any kind?
Yes, I did.
You did. What did you tell her? To tell the
stick.
jury the
stick
term
gun.
that you used to describe the weapon.
I don't know what I said, but I told her that they had a weapon, they threatened my life, and he advanced upon me.
Bill
Well,
from
how'd you
King of the
describe the
Hill.
weapon? Did you say they had a sword? Did you say they had a machete?
Gun.
A gun. Use the
Gun.
word gun with Rhonda Rauer.
Yes, I did.
When? When?
Rhonda Rowdy Piper.
Multiple times.
Multiple. Argumentative.
Overruled.
One at a time, Mr.
And that's the thing about this footage too, is like if you've seen the, oh god, it's not the Stouty murders, it's the other one. She was like that white trash nurse lady who was like killing her daughters with antifreeze. Like her prosecuting attorney is just like that angry guy who's like, my god, like he's yelling at her, like, and like I can't believe. Because, like, he goes above and beyond. Like, he's such an angry dude. Like, he will just yell and the veins in his neck will blow out. And, like, the defense attorney says nothing. The judge doesn't tell him to calm down. Like, it's at one point or another, like, it does happen. But it's just like,
rein it in, bro.
yeah, but it's just like, Ma, you killed your husband. Like, because, like, I can't remember her name. God damn it. But she tried to kickflip it into saying that, like, the daughter she was poisoning with antifreeze was trying to commit suicide with antifreeze because she had killed her father with antifreeze.
Whoa.
It's fucked.
He looks like Fat Tim Robbins.
A little bit. He's
Sir,
not making it
you
out of
tell this jury
Shawshank, though.
That on the way back to the hotel, you told Rhonda Rauer that the boys in the car had
Boys
a
in
gun.
blue.
If I told her on the way to the hotel, I told her several times at the hotel.
If I did.
I told her several times on the way home that this was self-defense.
That wasn't my question.
Well,
What was
the whole conversation revolved around gun, threat. They came out of the car at me. So it wasn't just they had a gun. Because when he just had a gun, I didn't shoot him. It wasn't until he made specific threats and got out of his car and came after me.
Okay, I'm gonna
So
repeat
all
my
of that was part of the conversation.
All right. I'm going to take this in little tiny increments now, so follow me. From the time you left the
Little
gate
tiny
station to the
increments.
time you got back to the Sheraton, how many times did you use the word gun to describe what the boys, let me finish, what the boys in the car had?
I couldn't tell you.
Was it more than one?
At least one.
Okay.
So, like, kind of a crappy answer, right? Like, there's like, it, because he did not say it in the interrogation. So, like, we're playing Monday morning quarterback, and the defense attorney has to, like, get as much as he can out of him. And again, like, the problem with going up on the stand is, like, when you're being delivered softballs, it's great to come out on top. Like, Nancy Brophy almost seems like someone you wouldn't want to strangle, like, on direct examination. Unless you read one of her books, and then you're like, how are you? Like, what?
Not good.
Self-published, obviously.
Yeah.
But, like, and there must be, maybe defense attorneys do this, or maybe they don't, because it feels like it would be bad for business. But, like, if, like, he can now role play the prosecutor and just, like, treat him like a rented mule for like an hour and a half, being like, because you have to tell if you're smart, you'll tell your defense attorney everything so he can have a defense for you if someone tries to pull some sneaky shit,
Right.
like Marty.
Right.
But, like, you got to know you're going to be like a punching bag up there. And it's not like until you collapse and someone rings the bell out of mercy. It's you're there until the prosecutor is done wringing your ass out like an old bar rag. Like, if you want to be up there for 6 hours like the Brofmeister, you will.
The Brofmeister.
Okay. And when you got back to the hotel, she was still a wreck, right?
That's correct.
That's
She was
correct.
upset.
She could barely touch our Domino's pizza.
That's correct.
She didn't even go into the room, right?
Caveat.
She was sitting out by the
caveat.
elevator.
She went into the room to change, and then we went out to the club room.
Right, and she, as she testified, was waiting for the police to come, right?
Well, we were waiting for the red SUV to come.
Coach Dancer.
No, that's what I was waiting for.
Coach Dancer, 1,000%.
Red
Because, like,
SUV.
the red SUV. That's the thing. But in real life, they would both be waiting for the cops to come. I'm sure they were biting their nails, waiting for SWAT to, like, shoot a flashbang and some gas into their room and get their asses hauled off for, like, the horrible crimes he just committed. But, like, he has to, again, Cook Dancer, his defense attorney's like, don't say police. Say you were scared of the red SUV and like all their friends and neighbors that are apparently just like in your head right around the corner and filling the rest of the parking
Caravan.
spaces.
Or, I couldn't tell you what she was waiting for, but that was
They were waiting for Darryl Brooks.
that was the sentiment
Oh,
that
yeah.
I understood, that she was waiting for retaliation.
Okay, and we'll get back to that.
We will.
The
We'll get
SUV.
back.
We'll get back to that.
How many times during that time did you tell her they had a gun?
I don't think we discussed it because we were in a public area.
Okay, well, you did go back to your room, correct?
I'm talking about in the clubroom,
I understand. Now I'm talking
Now
about you
I'm
go back to your room,
talking
right?
about.
right?
She was still a wreck.
Yes, she was.
Okay, tell the members of the jury how many times you said to her they had a gun.
Just really quick too. He's bringing up the fact that he's like, tell the members of the jury. He's reminding him repeatedly to like check yourself before you wreck yourself, Michael. Like tell the jury, because later you saw it in the thumbnail. He'll just flat out say like, you weren't there. You weren't there. Like to pout and stomp your feet and get like cupcake icing all over your face in front of the jury. It's just like, I like pull out a gun and blow your first toe off, right?
He does
At
have an
least
annoying
once.
voice, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Top 10, easy.
when she woke up, she heard that somebody had been killed, right?
Yes, she did.
Okay, tell the jury how many times you told her at that point, don't worry, honey, they had a gun.
I didn't say that.
Oh,
The truth is, Mr. Dunn,
That's the
you
father of the
never
boy that was
told
murdered.
Rhonda Rauer ever that they had a gun.
That's incorrect.
Hang on.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
It's a cross-examination, Mr. Strella overruled.
Mr. Dunn, the truth
Damn.
is,
He
you
does that
never
all the
told
time.
the love of your life that those boys had a gun.
You weren't there.
Did you? You did tell her then?
I said you were not there.
I guess.
Yeah, here's the thing. You cannot answer a question with a snot-nosed accusation. Because remember, like 30 seconds ago, he said, tell the jury. He goes, you weren't there.
That. I know that. The truth is, you didn't tell her about a gun, did you?
I mentioned the
Hang
gun.
on. Mr. Stroll, if you want to object, please stand up, make the objection loudly so everybody
Please
else.
stand up, place your right hand over your heart, and cover your left eye, and say, I object, sir.
Judge, I don't think it's been answered.
I forgot the question.
Oh, well, yeah.
Me too.
Ask the question again and see if you're going to make the same
The
objection.
truth is,
See what
you
happens?
never told Rhonda Rauer they had a
That's
gun.
an answer.
That is incorrect.
Same objection.
All right, well, he's answered.
He did it. Whoops.
You never
God damn it, Michael! Look at me! Stop!
Pull up
told
Brophy
they
and just
had
look at me
any
all the
kind of
time.
weapon, did you?
That's incorrect.
And the truth is,
Imagine, like, I mean, you're on, like, the kid's father is in the courtroom. Imagine pulling this face.
Yeah.
Dear God. Like, I know I am, you know, my face does not hide anything. So I understand, like, a lot of the times I ruin situations by just, like, you know, the billboard that I put out there. But, like, I would really, really double down on, like, making sure I didn't look like I didn't give a shit or, like, I was just being a snotty little dick or being totally dismissive and passive-aggressive. Especially if the rest of my life was on the line.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, you weren't there.
this that Jordan
Stay
Davis
be in.
Stop
inside
in.
the red SUV when you shot and killed him.
That is incorrect.
Huh?
Do you remember? Do you remember the letter? I'm going to call it the letter that you dictated to your brother Matt.
What was the title?
I love this shit. He does the, like, because there's a thing. Once you go into jail, guys, spoiler alert, everything you do is basically recorded. Like, you call someone, it'll be on video and audio recording somewhere. If you write a letter, somebody is going to rip that envelope open and read it and look at
make
all the pictures
copies.
or whatever and stuff it back in and send it off. So, like, I don't know, man. Like, I get in an interrogation, like, the denial of possible evidence, right? Because in interrogations, police can lie and they may not have evidence and maybe blah, 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 blah. But like here, he cannot introduce like hearsay. He can't be like, oh, I think I've got something that you might find interesting. And like if Michael calls his bluff, he'll be like, I didn't have any of it.
You got me.
I almost got you. Like at this point, it would be and is, because it's going to happen a couple of times. It's useless for him to be like, I don't know what you're talking about. I guarantee you know what he's talking about. You wrote it. Your lawyer had to get a copy of it on discovery, like to make sure that everybody was on the same page.
Right.
And then to sit here when everybody's got it in triplicate and like your signature and like your like you hello.
Love Michael.
Like think, man. Like the jury's in the room.
The day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday 2012. Looks like
Don't
this.
call it that.
Yes, I do.
You remember that?
I do.
Okay, tell the jury how that came to be.
I wrote that as like therapy for myself to get it out, as well as to inform my family and friends of what really happened, to counter the lies and misinformation that
Easy, Sarah
the
Boone.
state attorney and the media were putting out
Look, I'm an
about what
educated
happened.
man. He's an
The
educated man.
liberal G-run media. Anybody Mr. Show fan out there? I still love that shit. I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying that one day, but on Mr. Show, it was one of the funniest catchphrases that they had.
So this is it. This is the historical document of what happened on the evening of November 23rd, 2012, correct?
Maybe.
Sure, with reason. I mean, I didn't write.
With a caveat.
Caveat.
Right? Sure, with reason. What does that mean? Sure, with reason.
Wouldn't it be within reason? Like for a certain, if you're saying
I don't know.
something
I don't know if I
specific?
would say within reason either. I think he's just an idiot, and like, that's the thing. You can't predict what the other side's going to say, and you're going to want to, because your defense attorney is going to do you the solid of letting you practice so you don't sound like an idiot, at least on direct. But when you try to pull out fancy language and you start mixing things and like it just comes out like, English into Russian through Google Translate, it's just like, oh, dude, stop.
The nasty words for my grandmother to read.
Anything other than that you didn't write?
You'd have to be specific.
Okay, well, let me be more specific.
Oh, good.
Do you remember writing, quote, on page 2? Do you need a copy?
I don't have a copy of it with
Would you
me.
like one?
He
I'm
didn't
asking
ask you if you have one. He says, do you want one? Just pretend like you're in the jury, like I am right now. Because if I'm in the jury and this butt wipe is like, the prosecutor's like doing him a solid to be like, do you want a copy? He's like, I don't have one. This is probably why I've never been picked to be on a jury. Because
Probably.
like, even if I made it past the screening, which I never have, like I feel like it's a dead giveaway. I'm just going to be too involved. Like even if I got past it, I would be kicked out immediately because I'd be just like,
You'd have to just wear a full face mask.
yeah, I feel like a beekeeper's mask, but even then my shoulders will be going all over the place, like
You'd have to be in a different room.
Would you like one?
like Daryl
Sure.
Brooks style,
Yeah.
like in a different video, like the audio turned off.
Raise
I'm
your
just like
hand.
throwing my hands up in the air.
That's not in evidence and improper impeachment, no predicate.
Sustained.
It's in evidence.
Sir, is that the letter?
It appears to be.
All right. Well, I want to be right. Is that it?
I wrote so many letters to my brother about this very
On that
thing.
date.
Judge, for the record, I'll mark it. I think we're on 8S.
S as in Sam,
Yes, sir.
okay? For identification purposes.
Yes, sir.
For the record. Yes, sir. Yes. I agree. Please.
Yes,
move
this
on.
is the letter.
Oh, thank God.
Is that a fair and accurate copy of it?
It appears to be.
All right. Judge, I've moved this into evidence as states, I think we're on 201.
Your Honor, we would object. It's not sworn, it's improper, it's hearsay. We understand it's a letter written by Mr. Dunn, but at this point, there's been no proper predicate laid in terms of marking in the evidence in the defense's case in chief.
Judge, he testified this is an accurate account of what happened. I'm going to intend to use it to impeach him.
Your objection's overruled to be received as states 201.
Oh, damn.
God damn it. Like every time he goes, objection, he goes, it's overruled.
He's like the Shabusiness's lawyer. Everything
Yeah.
you.
Oh, it's like, I feel like I saw a lot of commercials growing up for like Sprite or Kool-Aid where like a kid tries to like dunk on Scottie Pippen or Magic Johnson or David Robinson or whatever. And they're constantly just like slamming the ball out of their hand. Like it gets frustrating even watching it after a while. And like, that's got to be this dude's life and like businesses.
Yeah.
Denied, you know.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Again, the top of page 2.
20 minutes ago, I wanted to get to this, but your lawyer was being a dick.
Quote, when I turned back to my left, the guy who was advancing on me had apparently seen me go for my own weapon and dove
Your Honor,
back
I'm only
inside.
object. It's improper impeachment. He hasn't been asked if that's what he said. He hasn't been asked.
Sustained.
Judge,
Oh, damn.
let me clarify. You just told this jury that when you fired Jordan Davis, you now know who he is, right? Was outside the car. Is that what you said?
His door was open. I don't.
Maybe give like the that you now know the name of the child, let's be real, that you killed.
A pause.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I totally know it now. For a while, I was like, who did I kill? Who was that kid I killed? Oh, now I know it's Jordan Davis. Take that fucking joy out of your voice. The jury's right there. Remind the jury that you're...
I don't know where his body was, but I wrote here he apparently did because of what I learned later.
Hold on, not 5 minutes ago. Didn't you just tell this jury he was outside the car?
He sure was. I mean, his door was open.
Golly gee.
Okay, but you wrote in your...
You know, if his feet were outside and his body was inside, that's a little splitting hairs.
Mr. Dunn, did you write, he had apparently seen me go for my own weapon and dove back inside the SUV?
Absolutely, that's what I wrote. That's not what I knew at the time, but this is what I surmised.
You referenced those
Since...
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, you referenced... Sir?
were your words though, right? That's in that document.
Correct.
Okay. And you referenced this interview with the sheriff's office. You remember that?
Yes.
Okay. They read you your constitutional rights, right?
Yep.
You walked in in a pair of cargo shorts like
You
an
agreed to speak
ape.
with them?
Yes, I had nothing to hide.
Right. And it's
Right.
And that's why you like... If I had nothing to hide, especially if I just opened fire and emptied a full clip into a car as it drove away and everyone was screaming, right away, went home, had a pizza,
Slept.
toast, I hung out in the common area because I thought the red SUV would be bad.
it's on videotape, correct?
Yes, it would have been nice if you had shown that.
Oh, damn.
We're not done.
Burn.
Yeah, somebody laughed. That's the
I
first
would've.
one.
It's on video tape and audio tape, correct?
Yes.
And isn't it true, sir, that you said, if
Empty.
you need a transcript, I'm happy to give it to you if it'll refresh your memory. He's coming out. I think he saw what I was doing and was running back in.
Because he didn't want to get shot.
You remember saying that?
Sure, and what you have to understand is I saw him exit the car. I saw his head above the door frame, and then after that I didn't see him anymore. He didn't just go poof and disappear. So he went somewhere, but the door was open, and then the door was closed.
Whoa.
Wow.
David
That's how
Compton
doors
this
work.
jury that after you shot Jordan Davis through his aorta, that he reached over and pulled the door back shut? Is that what you're telling me?
I don't know how that happened. Maybe it happened because the car was backing up.
They wouldn't. It'd be opposite.
Well,
It'd
But
be
if you
opening the
look
door.
at the
That's why Michael never made it as a physicist. He had to settle for
Something.
racist.
bullet hole in the door, it's plainly open.
Plainly.
Do you have that now?
Clearly.
There he is.
Do the ME's picture that showed all the dowels, and you'll see it.
That's coming.
That's the thing, man. It just feels like Michael Dunn is already a corpse, but he's not satisfied just being dead. Like he's being like the the gravedigger who's now like throwing dirt onto his casket is like, he's like, not fast enough. And it's like pulling it on himself. He's like, whoa, whoa. There's a process here, dude. You're dead. Like, just chill. We've got this under control from here.
I need more.
You see it states 32?
Sure.
You see that?
Sure.
You see that piece of plastic in the seat?
I see 4 pieces of plastic in the seat.
Thanks for proving the point.
You think the door was open?
I think
when
you
those
should look
blew
at the
into
bullet
car?
impacts versus debris inside.
What?
You think that piece of plastic, let me finish.
I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter anything that he says. It just comes across like, I think you should
Yeah.
do it there. But I have an everything proof soup, even if the floor is lava.
Do you think that piece of plastic just kind of made a right turn and flew into the car?
That's not accurate.
What? Oh, thank God he
The
pulled out
picture's not
accurate.
accurate?
Your characterization of a right turn blown into the car is inaccurate.
Everybody's
How about
confused.
that picture?
Right, and if you open the door a little bit, that angle would match the same angle as the dowels in the front door.
So Jordan Davis was standing
Right, because you were shooting from the same place. Presumably, you weren't like blinking in and out of existence like a game of Super Hot.
outside his car going like this.
No, I think, like I said, he was diving in
He was diving in before you fired.
as I was firing.
I thought you just told us he was outside the car when
His
you fired.
feet were. He was coming after me, sir.
Feet first. He was coming after me, diving into his car so he could get his feet in the proper position to come at me with those feet of fury.
Yep.
Sir.
What he did after he saw me go for my weapon, he didn't try to say anything. I didn't see him.
He abandoned the shotgun. He abandoned the stick. He abandoned the pipe. Any sort of cylindrical thing he had with him, he abandoned it and jumped in trying to escape. But I was like, you know what? 10 bullets is enough to really make sure. What, Michael?
Let me get this straight then. This man has a
He
shotgun,
jumped into
right?
the car.
As far as I know, he's hiding behind the door.
Right, with a shotgun.
Yes.
I mean, you said
Classic.
You described
I
it like-
saw 4 inches of thick barrel.
right, and you know what a shotgun
That
is.
guy's hair behind the
Okay.
dad.
That's a little. Wait, who? This one?
No, that one.
Behind the dad? This? You're saying this is the dad?
No, I thought the other guy was the dad.
I feel like he's in front of. No, behind this guy. Look how big this guy's head is.
yeah,
He's got like a whatever. He's got like a Fabio
what I'm
haircut.
talking
He's like
about.
got a bit.
he
a
looks like a
cul-de-sac going
very
on.
tall man.
Right. This has nothing to do with the case.
And this is a man who's been carrying on now for how long, saying, "I'm gonna kill you. You're dead."
I'm gonna-
something-
He said, "You're dead, bitch.
I'm gonna come after David with my feet first.
You're dead, bitch." Shows, he said.
something, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what you're telling this jury is that when
Are
you
you
actually
talking about
turn your attention
me?
away from him and go to grab a firearm, that he suddenly changed his mind and said, "Oh, you know what? You're right. I won't do that." Is that what you're telling the jury?
I don't know what he's thought or said, but
Did you see that eye movement where like it just like one of his eyes like turned 45 degrees to check out? Like he didn't want to actually check in with the jury because he knows he's fucking floundering here. But one eye was like, "Ee," and it saw it. It did not like what it saw and it came back.
apparently,
I guess he changed his mind.
apparently.
Apparently.
Jordan Davis was never a threat to you, was he, Mr. Dunn?
Absolutely he was. Between his
Loud music and thumping bass
And his feet.
and the amount of melanin in his skin, I was scared for my life.
actions and his threats.
Jordan Davis never got out of that car, did he?
Mr. Guy,
Yes, he did.
let him finish his answer before you ask another question.
Yes, he did. And not only did he get out, his head cleared the window frame.
Clear threat.
Did his head look like the guy that we saw in the identification picture?
Well, all that happened so fast, I really couldn't tell you what he looked like.
That's something you want to say, right? Like if you're saying someone was a definite threat, but now they're just an amorphous blob sort of moving out of a car in an indistinct fashion, how are you going to say that that is like a threat? Like anytime I've ever been threatened or in a threatening situation where I felt like I was going to lose life or limb, I can tell you exactly what was going on. Like one time while walking on a nature hike out here in Arizona, I mean, with the benefit of hindsight, it was probably just a deer because we got a lot of those. But like there was something behind a bush that like moved when I moved and like did that thing where it like, like you're playing with a dog and it'll throw its front feet out like it's like, huh?
Yep.
And I was like, oh my God, it's a bobcat, it's a mountain lion, it's a whatever.
Coyote.
It was probably just a deer. It was probably just a deer that was fucking around behind a bush and like screw with me a little bit because it didn't make a sound. And like, so, I just hauled ass back to camp. And, I had a harrowing story about how I escaped a
mountain lion.
At first I was like, it was definitely a bobcat. By the time I had to tell a story, I had to kick it up a notch.
Yeah.
It was a mountain lion, guys. I survived.
We should probably get out of here though, because it's close.
It's Bathroom Cougar.
You interviewed the police. That was about 2:45 the next day, right?
I don't know what time it was.
Right? You remember?
Yeah, I don't know what time it was.
Is that fair? Is that about right?
Fair.
It seems about
Be
right.
reasonable.
Okay. And so we are many, many hours from the time of the shooting,
Heroin.
right?
Yes.
And you're the stoic one, right?
Yes.
Yes, I was still in
You
shock.
remaining calm for Rhonda, right?
Yes.
It's all for Rhonda. Incompetent
But the
Rhonda.
truth
Help me,
is, sir,
Rhonda.
you lied to the police. Didn't
How
you?
so?
How dare you?
Well,
You weren't there.
they asked you specifically, was the music playing when you pulled up? And you said no.
But literally like 8 or 10 witnesses was like, yeah. The one guy even remarked, like, I was surprised he pulled up into the parking spot next to him because their music was so loud. Help me, Rhonda.
Do you remember that?
I do, and I don't remember the heavy bass being an issue when we first pulled up.
Okay, but that's not what they asked you. They asked you, was the
It's true.
music playing when you
Right,
pulled
and
up?
it wasn't. I mean, if they had music on, it wasn't heavy
Could have been
bass. where I would
changing
notice it.
tracks.
Okay, but it was loud enough to be thug music.
Must have been like, because every, that heavy drum and bass track shit, like there's always one track on that album that doesn't have any drums or bass. So yeah, he probably pulled in when they were listening to like that high trap house shit. And like the very next track, like, here come the drums and bass again. He's like, oh my God.
Music, right?
That's how what Rhonda characterized. I don't recall saying that.
You don't recall saying
Thug music. He likes to call it rap crap. We haven't gotten there yet, Maxwell, but I see, no rubber.
I hate that thug music?
No, if I would have said anything, I would have called it rap crap.
There you go.
Thug music isn't a term.
Immediately.
So Ms. Rower got that wrong?
I wasn't gonna.
Here's the thing, man. Like,
That's what my dad calls it.
thug music doesn't sound like rap crap. Like, if you're going to screw up a name, it's going to be something similar sounding, at least, to the thing you're fucking up. Because old people do it all the time. It always sounds close. But like, I don't know, man. Thug music at least sounds less stupid than rap crap.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would call it rap crap. Especially with his tone of voice, but like, stick with the thug music. At least you can talk about Trick Daddy a little
Well,
bit.
rap crap is what
Say
a
anything
middle-aged,
about it, but-
well, over middle-aged
No, he would
man
use
would
both.
say.
He would probably like. I don't want to get into like old people nowadays because they're probably not all like this. But like, rap crap seems to, Trick Daddy embraced it though. I mean, you probably had that album, Maxwell. No, you weren't born yet.
Yeah, right.
Trick Daddy, I can't remember the album, but like it was, I owned it. He was a thug.
But I don't
No
recall
Drake
saying
for
that,
me,
and that's
thanks.
not a term I would use.
I mean, Drake is so new. Like, oh my God, it's like, I'm so old. Sorry, I digress.
Okay, but I mean, she wasn't upset when y'all were at the gate station, right? When you pulled
No,
in.
but realize there's a lot of trauma afterwards, and she could have imagined something.
She could have imagined it.
Couldn't have
You
been
could have
there.
imagined a gun, correct?
Anything's possible, sir. It's just not likely. Like I said, between his threats and actions, They were reinforcing what my eyes were telling me.
And the detectives actually went on about the music, didn't they? And you said no. It wasn't until Rhonda got out of the
Your
car
Honor.
and she had been gone for a little bit.
Again, I'm going to object to improper impeachment. Again, there's no predicate to read from it evidence because there's been no dispute.
Judge, it's a prior inconsistent statement.
Lack of foundation predicate.
Let me see counsel at the sidebar real quick.
Oh my God. One
You
of
guys
these-
need to keep your shit together because I am not doing this all day. He's gonna tell.
Yeah, like in SVU or whatever, any Law and Order, what they call it, sidebar, and it's like they just like as stupid as this. Like imagine this, right? Like a sidebar. I don't know what's going on here, but you guys got to pull your shit together because this is fucked. Not in my fucking courtroom. Now get back to your shitty desks. I fucking hate you. Step back. Like, as if that does anything, right? At least this guy moved over to the side of his desk to like, hello? Like when I shout grace or whatever, like to be like, I'll allow it. Like, what are you doing? I saw fucking Tony Danza love it. Like Angela. Angela does that,
Schmangela.
Angela does that shit all the time when she's the judge, and then she reverts back to a lawyer for some episodes where she's like, I don't know what's going on. Like, what is that doing?
You guys need to control yourselves.
They can't see you doing it.
Mr. Dunn, your testimony this afternoon, this morning,
Does it sound different?
is that when you pulled up, there was music playing in the red SUV.
At least we can all agree it's music, right? Not
Yeah.
just noise. Check out, it's good stuff. Del the Funky Homo Sapien. Check it out.
Yeah,
Subway
there
for
may have
me.
been music playing, but it wasn't that heavy thumping noise that
Or
bothered me.
Okay,
Isn't it true you said that?
old people hate bass. I don't understand that.
It
I guess
messes
I
with
do.
their chest. The
Well,
vibrations.
But like then you listen to like the music back in the what in my childhood were called the oldies is now probably called classical. All the dudes had super high voices, and it, like that lasted a while, like all the way up into the 90s, and even today, like the Weeknd's got a high
yeah, The
voice.
Weeknd.
Axl Rose has got a high voice, and I always figured like low voice equals something, but it doesn't matter.
Said the detective, still on the topic of music. No, it wasn't until Rhonda got out of the car and she had been gone for a little bit.
That the thumping
All
started,
about
correct.
the trouble, no
Okay, but they were
bass.
asking you about music.
Yeah, listen to his voice.
And that agrees with my letter as well,
It agrees.
by the way.
For the record.
By the way, for the record, where's the state of Wisconsin when you need them, right?
I'm sorry, music is music where there's lyrics and instruments. My complaint was the heavy bass that was reverberating the body panels.
Okay, well, let me use your words, because you're
Do you think, really quick, Maxwell, because we just did the Jay Reffner and
Nathan Downer.
Nathan Danower. Do you think, like, if Jay Reffner were gay, would his name still be the same, but instead of Meat Rocket and the number 8, it was Meat Rocket ATE to imply fellatio?
because you're saying the music is playing
Also,
and you
Ryan,
pulled up, right?
I love that Meghan Trainor song.
I mean, it's okay. What happened to Ellie Goulding? It's like another 15-year-old reference.
Kinda, yeah.
Hey, what happened to the
do you remember
monkeys?
this question and this answer in
Do you guys remember the vinyls?
your interview? Okay, just kind of walk
Definitely.
me through
Yeah,
kind of
thank
what
you.
happened at that point. This is you. Well, I'm embarrassed to say,
This is you. Well, I'm Michael Dunn, and I'm embarrassed to say. I never thought I would hear that in a courtroom. This is you. Like everybody's worst impersonation. Like if you're gonna make fun of someone, you just go, "My name is," and then what you're making fun of, and he's doing it.
My name is
but
Sarah
Rhonda
Boone.
got out. She's in the store, and there's like an SUV next to us. And then
The
music
Beatles? No,
starts.
never.
Sure, and in that case, I probably should
I've heard of the Who.
have said the heavy bass thumping.
But you said music starts.
Correct.
The Guess Who?
And what did you say to her? You didn't say I
What
hate
did you
that club
say?
music. What did you say?
Stop.
I didn't say this, but if I had
But I thought it really fucking hard, so she should have heard it.
Yeah.
said anything, I would have characterized it as rap crap, not thug music. That's not a term I'm familiar with.
Except she says, not for nothing. I'm not going to watch it with you guys, so you can find it on your own if you want. I think it's kind of boring, but her interview with those same two detectives, like, she says thug music from the jump. Like, she like unprompted, like, he said, I hate that thug music, and I go, I know. So it's not like rap crap wasn't. I don't know whose fucking brilliant idea that was. If Michael Dunn is like, let's soften the blow with rap crap, or if like his brilliant defense attorney was like, don't use the word thug. Either way, it doesn't seem to help, because like here I am on the jury being like, this guy's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Okay, but rap crap. You don't like that either, do you?
Rap crap.
I don't like the thumping noise.
Especially when it's loud,
So you didn't like how much of Bambi didn't you like, right?
right?
It hurts my ears.
All right.
My ears. Why not just move your car?
Any music loud enough will hurt your ears. Don't be a fucking
True.
racist.
You testified this afternoon, or this morning, that you had 3 or 4 rum and cokes, right?
Yeah, they were
Totally.
small. I mean, it would probably equal 1 or 2 normal sized drinks.
Okay, so
Probably
what-
1 or 2
It
ounces.
was an open bar at a wedding. See, do you think they were making like Applebee's strength, guys? Like you walk into a Red Lobster, you're not going to get the same service as like an open bar at a wedding. That was like 2. I can take 2 stiff drinks and drive home, no problem.
Ounces of.
Rhonda Rower
Mainly
got that
water.
right? The number of cokes you had? Rum and coke?
She did.
Okay.
She said
Do you remember
14.
telling the police when they asked you if you had had anything to drink at the wedding? You said, I had a toast and a rum and coke.
Right, I said I had 1.
Right. But
So you lied.
now today you're saying you had 3 or 4.
Well, in my
Mini cups.
defense, 1 ounce of alcohol is 1 drink to me. And I guess
Wuss.
I was wrong. I probably had 2 ounces of alcohol.
And your testimony today is that Jordan Davis said to you,
Like, on what planet does it feel like Michael Dunn would be like a self-controlled drinker at an open bar at a wedding?
Yeah. Oh, I'll just have one thing.
I mean, all said and done, across let's say all the drinks, all the melted ice, like 14 cups of food abandoned around the venue, plus the ice. I was probably, I had a couple of slices of pizza at some point, which diluted the alcohol. Like, 2 drinks, 1 or 2. Like he's giving the same answer that people give on cops. Like, whether you pull over a dude who's swerving all over the road after a 24-pack of Keystone or Michael Dunn, he's going to go, 1 or 2, roughly.
this shit is going down tonight.
No, this shit's going down now.
This shit's going down now. Okay?
Tonight. Like, you got to wait until the sun goes down. Here we are. I'm going to get you, Michael. When the sun goes down, I'm going to kill your ass in this parking lot.
when you guys finally
you didn't,
open Stan's
you didn't
Pickle
tell us
House, Coleman's Tax Services, will
I don't
1
think
ounce
I
equal
did.
1 drink?
No, I had 2
Negative,
ounces.
sir. It'll be 2, 4, or 6, depending on what you want to do.
This whole incident was very.
1 is like, whatever. Like, 'cause typically, like, shot glasses are 1 ounce, and like they're a standard measurement. A lot of Old West saloons, you would just order whiskey or rye or scotch or whatever, and they'd throw a glass down and the bottle, and you could fill it up as much as you wanted per drink. And every time you drank it, it was like 10 cents.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to be like bloop, glink, 10 cents. If you wanted to be like, testing the surface tension of liquid on the top of the glass, 10 cents. So, it paid to be an alcoholic back then.
Very.
I mean, not
new.
health-wise.
Right.
But after, if you can call it a night's sleep in the jail, I did have an interview with my attorney.
Well, let me ask you.
And all this, instead of being interrogated, I was actually interviewed. And
Would you call his interrogation in any way like confrontational or even like...
No.
They spent, like, they were up for like 3 days straight trying to get a Michael Dunn. He's like, we're very tired, sir. And like, what the fuck? You could have called us. I've listened to interrogations where like, it's 20 minutes in and the dude's yelling because like he's off his nut and like knows that this is the killer. Like, this guy comes in being like, yeah, I shot the kid. They know it's him. And they're still like, okay, so when you woke up, Michael Dunn, what kind of toast did you have again?
Right. What did you do?
and this extra detail came out.
Michael Dunn is like Doc
Interrogated.
Brown
Did,
taking the
did
shot
they
and
threaten you?
back
Did the
Back
police
to
threaten you?
3.
Well, it was combative.
What did he do when he did that shit? I'm trying. There are so many. Like, this feels, Ryan. It feels apropos that you bring this up because it feels like there were a lot of movies, maybe 80s, 90s, that people would take drinks and they would get some sort of superhuman ability really quick, like a Popeye spinach sort of thing. And I can't remember who I'm thinking of, where like they would take a drink, and maybe it was like an old Western where like he would have to get drunk to be like a really good shooter or whatever, gunfighter. You know what I'm talking about?
So that wasn't an interview, sir. It was an interrogation.
Did they promise you anything?
He blacks out cold
Like to
and
get you to
crashes
answer a
face
certain-
first into the
Nope.
table.
Did they threaten
You're thinking of Blazing Saddles, and I'm not thinking about that
you
one.
physically?
Nope.
Did they threaten you?
No,
wait,
he's
who?
telling what happens when Doc Brown takes a shot.
Oh yeah, because there's another movie where that happens too. Yeah, where he, what is it? No, we can't get lost in the reeds here.
Verbally?
Sorry.
They were combative.
Did they tell you you don't have to make a statement, right?
Sure.
And you did.
But
They
they
were
were
combative.
argumentative. They weren't trying to withdraw information from me. They were.
And did they tell you?
Now the jury saw the
The whole thing.
interrogation, so are you going to say that they're liars now?
If at any point you want to stop talking, you can stop talking.
In the beginning, they did.
Well, did they ever take that back? Did they ever tell you couldn't stop?
No, but they weren't stressing that over and over.
Why would
Well,
they?
you did sign a rights form saying you understood your rights, right?
Correct.
You can't get lost in the captain reeds.
Did you
I had
forget
nothing. I
I'm
had
sure you have, Ryan.
nothing to hide.
I don't know why we keep checking in with Tom Bosley here. Like, it's not.
I was gonna ask, like, why do we keep seeing this old guy?
He must be, maybe he's related to Michael. Like, I don't know. Like, it's weird that we keep checking in with him to be like, I'm so disappointed.
If I had further recollections after getting more than 2 hours of sleep, I think that's normal.
Isn't it true that Detective Musser said to you, is there anything else?
But if I were the prosecutor, I would have thrown this in too. Like, hey, you were fresh as a daisy when you shot the kid right there, right? You could have called the police or at least stuck around, because a lot of people called the police to like square this away right there. Like, you didn't have to go home and pretend that like some cabal of red SUVs are going to descend from some mountaintop somewhere and just whisk you away like Night Gaunt style into the land of dreams, right? You could have just been like, oh my God, something crazy just happened. Hello, police. But you're like, no, I've got a Domino's 2-for-1 coupon that expires tomorrow.
Oh my God.
And I don't have time for an interview tonight.
You can tell us that you want to tell us about what happened.
I believe he did.
And you said, nope, that's
Your Honor,
it.
If I can just object and approach for 1
If I could
minute,
just, really quick. Sir, prosecution's being really mean to my idiot client. I feel like this is a Thomas Middleditch character with a bad wig. You get that reference.
It looks when they panned to the other side of the courtroom, it looks like 110% different than this. Like, it's so bright on the other side, and here it's like so dark.
Mr. Guy?
All the
Thank you.
paper they're using is 120
Mr. Dunn,
years
the
old.
bottom line is, in your interview with the police, you never said that Jordan Davis said this shit's going down tonight, or now.
Now,
Correct, I did not. And I
Alright.
think I even mischaracterized to the police the whole "I'm going to kill you,"
bitch.
because I was like, they said, it was coming through at bits and pieces.
Okay, but you did give the police an account, right?
With the benefit of counsel coaching, I was able to remember a lot of salient details that work in my favor.
Yeah.
Yeah, as best I could, under the circumstances, 2 hours of sleep.
And you told them graphic details about what happened, right?
Somewhat.
Somewhat graphic.
And you
PG-13.
told them that Jordan Davis was the one threatening you, right?
Yes, he was.
You didn't know his name, but you said that was the guy who's threatening you.
It was in the rear passenger
The
seat.
guy.
All right. But today you said there were actually two guys in the
Well,
back seat.
there were
Let
two
me
guys
finish.
in the back.
Two guys in the back seat who had menacing looks on their faces, right?
Yes, that's
I was
correct.
scared for
Okay, you
my
didn't tell the
life.
sheriff's office that, did you?
I didn't think it was relevant.
You didn't?
Well, Well, not at the time.
That's like when Nancy Brophy is like, well, I put all of the things that could have been construed as murder evidence into a box marked evidence for the police.
Yeah.
Cool, Nancy. What the fuck?
Okay, well, you knew you were being questioned about a murder, right?
I didn't think it was like if the police wanted this evidence, I would have been like, oh, here's the evidence, police, because I labeled the police evidence. But, you know, Michael Dunn was like, well, it wasn't just one dude who had a shotgun. It was a fleet, an army of dudes wielding hatchets. And I was like, whoa, I'll tell that to him later.
Sure.
And so you just thought you'd leave that out?
The guy in the rear passenger was the one doing the threatening. The other guy was just looking mean.
He's a looky-loo.
Let's talk about what this
Mean look
what you
was.
saw was. As you sit here today, what is it now?
It was a shotgun.
It's a shotgun.
So what was the whole stick thing like with the detectives? Like they were able to get you to believe that it wasn't a shotgun because they didn't find one, nor did they find a stick, but I guess like if you threw a stick out of a car window, you could just be like, that was just yard debris, like trucks with trailers full of sticks fly around all the time.
Yeah.
Like no shotguns are happening.
Okay, what did you tell the sheriff's office it was?
Told him it was a shotgun.
Didn't you tell him it was either a barrel or a stick?
Yes, I did. And this is after the police telling me there was no weapon recovered at the car or the scene.
So confronted with reality, I obviously had to change my narrative to somewhat still be wrong, but less something. I don't know what the whole fucking stick thing. Like, what is that lesson? Like, well, if it wasn't a shotgun, it was a stick. We didn't find a stick either, Michael. Well, did you find like? Was there an inordinate amount of spaghetti somewhere? Like anything that you could just like hold, like a bunch of pencils? Did he have a fistful of Ticonderogas?
And me believing the police were competent and able to search the whole area. So by process of elimination, you know, it's like some kind of industrial object, a pipe, something that looked very much like a barrel.
Nothing like dropping some shit on the police, right? Because, like, here you are in the criminal justice system. Like, I don't do that in normal life, and there's nothing on the line. I wouldn't be like, well, since all the police are incompetent, like, anybody who backs the blue is going to be, like, on your ass now. So, oh, you want to hear that, Ryan?
I made some spaghetti, but I dropped some sauce on the floor.
Good. No, right out of the barrel.
But at the time, his actions and his threats, there was no doubt in my mind that that was a weapon, that that was a firearm.
And I'm only saying that now because my defense attorney, he said, you have to say you definitely thought you were going to die because, I mean, even if you were a better actor, it's might help. But just being like, I'm pretty sure I saw something, like that's all well and good if like you accidentally take the last bunch of bananas, right? And you go, aha, but there's more around the corner. Like, it's not like this isn't a situation where you go like, oh, whoops, my mistake.
But
the doubt came in when the police started telling me that they didn't recover anything in the car at the scene. But as we
So since
learned,
there wasn't evidence backing up my story, I doubted it because it was a lie.
And but you said at that time it could have been a stick.
Yeah, and again, 2 hours of sleep, I misspoke. I mean, a stick doesn't really do justice to it. Picture anything that looks like a barrel, something with a metal patina.
Something like 2.5 feet across, 3.5 feet wide, wood, metal bands about 3. Oh, a barrel. Because he describes, because it was like, I feel like it was daytime. I've seen the footage from the gas station. I feel like it was daytime, and it wasn't like they were like emerging from a foggy alleyway like Batman in like Tim Burton's movie, right? Like it wasn't like some mysterious figure that can be misconstrued, and then when they step into the light, it's just like, oh, an old lady with an umbrella, and like I almost killed him. Like,
even if it was at night, though, like gas stations are fully lit.
Yeah, there's no way. Like, but it's like the Michael Dredka, when like he said that the dude he shot was after he pushed him, he like started to come after him. But we saw the footage where he pushed him and immediately starts walking away, even before he sees the gun. So that's the thing. You've got this like Michael with the gun syndrome where you get these big nuts, and it just feels like even anything from like an insult or a personal slight or a preference that goes against your own is like worthy of murder.
Yep.
Whether it's like obnoxious music or someone shoving you for hassling your woman in your car. Sure, it's annoying she parked in a handicap spot, but was that worth like punching someone's ticket for good? Michael? 2 people's, because he's dead and you're in the can for fucking ever.
Right around the same thickness of a shotgun barrel.
And isn't it true that the detective said at some point, is it possible it
Like a
was your
single barrel?
imagination?
How many like young black guys are running around with like single barrel shotguns?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, like, because he describes it like as a barrel, like there's no stock or anything like the, like the ball sight or whatever they call it is on there. It's a barrel. So in my head, it feels like one of those single shot farmer shotguns that like a dude would be running around like the middle of Kentucky, like blasting varmints. Like, because a tactical or like whatever home defense shotgun doesn't look like just a pipe.
Right.
But he can't be like, I saw this, and this, because there was none of that. He just has to go like, that's why he backed off onto the stick. It was so cylindrical, it could have been anything at all.
One of those marshmallow shooters.
Yeah, like a potato gun.
No, I did not. I started to say that anything is possible,
Tom Bosley.
but not likely.
He looks so
And
sleepy.
it certainly wasn't my imagination that he came out of the car.
It looks like Pistachio's like grandfather when he's the Turtle Club member.
You don't like that music, do you?
We've established
It's
this.
not my style, but you know, when I was a kid, my folks didn't like rock and roll.
My fucks.
And they were listening to it loud, right?
My folks?
The body panels on their vehicle were vibrating. The side windows of my car, they were vibrating. The rear window, the rear mirror in my car was vibrating. My eardrum was vibrating. It wasn't loud. It was obnoxious.
There was very much vibrations everywhere.
Your eardrum is always vibrating. If there's a sound that you're hearing, it's vibrating.
Whoa.
So you were hearing things, Michael? My God, of course you had to shoot them. Like you were hearing things.
Do you have tinnitus?
You know, I can't tell you, like so many people I've killed because I heard something and just opened fire. My ears are vibrating and I just reach into my glove box and blow away anyone nearby. Totally reasonable.
And you didn't like it.
It was painful. I asked for a common courtesy. Hey, could you turn that down, please? If they would have said, F you, we're not doing it, I mean, that's basically what they did. They turned it off, turned it back on. I wasn't going to ask them again.
But I did.
I was done.
Help me, Rhonda. These are not good vibrations. I wish I was in my room.
Wouldn't
it be nice?
Courtesy. They gave it.
Too bad Rhonda wasn't a California girl.
Huh.
It was Florida.
Said thank you, and that was the end of it. Even when they turned it back on, that was the end of it. It was Jordan Davis.
Then how did you kill him?
Was
when
Jordan
they turned the
Davis.
music back on, that's the thing. He's like, that was the end of it. But he's like, they were saying, kill you, bitch.
He kept escalating this.
I'm
to the
Leslie
point
Jordan.
Where I had no choice but to defend myself. It was life or death.
Was
Jordan
it?
Davis was getting on you, right? I mean, he was cussing, right?
You know, I heard snips of what he was saying, but it wasn't until I heard.
But I wouldn't say it was enough to murder him. But I did. So, I mean, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
It's clear as a
take that
bell.
back.
He said,
Yeah.
I'm going to fucking kill you, Michael Dunn. And then he said my full address. And then he pulled his balls out. So I had to
Thomas.
shoot him.
Maybe the music had his.
Oh, yeah, it's Manchurian Candidate, yeah. Like, what a horrible coincidence. Like, on, what was it, Naked Gun 33 and the third, where, like, Reggie Jackson, like, was going to kill the Queen of England. Like, if you put into a popular song, these are the risks you run.
I heard I should fucking
R.I.P.
kill that
Leslie Jordan.
motherfucker,
Yes, thank you,
that
Ryan.
I started really paying attention to what he was
Your
saying.
window's up, right?
Yes, and I hear him screaming this.
Okay, I mean, the window's up and the music's so loud, the bass is so loud that your rear view mirror's rattling.
Sounds
Well,
stupid.
Remember, they shut it off once,
Remember.
and then they turned it on, and it's
Like I said.
He remembers.
not quite as loud, but it's still annoying, but we're not at the eardrum vibrating level now.
But you're telling this jury that with your window closed and that music rattling, you could hear Jordan Davis? What you're
Certainly,
saying?
because the bass isn't, there's no mid-range, there's no instruments or voices. It's just,
Oh, yeah.
Great
Banger subwoofers. Dude went to Audio Express, your home of the $1 install. Probably got, I don't know, back in the day, you'd be impressed by like 2 10s, but probably now they're like rocking 4 12s. Fuck if I know, but still, for $1, even if it does catch your car on fire because they did a bad job wiring it, allegedly.
It only works if you play the song backwards.
it's just low bass. And he is so excited and angry, I hear him over that with my window up.
And that didn't.
There's no way.
upset you at all?
That's why I had to roll my window down and shout, "Are you talking about me? Yeah, bitch, this is going down tonight or now." Ah! Glove box, rack, sniff, lick. You're not taking me out, you son of a bitch. Pow, 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 pow. Open door, get out of car, circle around the back of car as they drive away for their life. Pow, 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 pow. Stupid bitch.
Oh, you thought, oh, that's okay.
I was concerned, and that's why I put my window down and
Totally
asked him,
concerned.
"Are you talking about me?" I was ready
Am I the dead cracker?
to try to de-escalate.
By assaulting them verbally with my horrible womanish voice.
Right. You just know every member of this guy's family and inner circle has heard him grumble, "Oh, they can say it, but when I say it, I'm a racist."
Right. It just sort of feels like hopefully someone in his family was like, "I knew this was going to happen," but everybody else is like, "I can't believe.
It's just a matter of time.
I can't believe."
You really make the crime come alive. Especially the licking.
The situation.
I mean, you have to, he was in the moment. Like, he's living out his fantasy. His best fucking friend, who's a federal agriculture agent with a shield and everything up the street, he's like one of these nutsacks who's like, I don't know, I was never in the military, but I know someone who might have been. At least he talks about it a lot, and he's in a lot of chat rooms. He taught me how to shoot. So I feel like I have the authority to just blast away at people. I mean, I've got a whole color chart if you want to see. Below a certain level, I just go, no reconciliation, just shoot. It happened in the QT parking lot.
Because I could see it was spiraling out of hand. At every time this young man's speaking, it's louder and louder and more violent at each step.
Didn't you tell the police that you?
They were like, to his, and even in his own story, it's like 4 interactions. Mm-hmm. So even if it goes up by an order of magnitude, and it starts at like, hey, yeah, we'll turn our music down, which is totally conciliatory, it goes to like what? Like, that's it. Like, right? He goes like, oh, yeah, I'll turn my music down, to like all the way up to like, psh.
That you couldn't make out everything that was being said?
That's correct. Yeah, the something something cracker and the something something white boy. I mean, I couldn't hear it all, but I could tell he was irate.
You think 19-year-olds in 2012 were you still using cracker as like a?
It depends on where. I mean, in Florida, maybe.
No, like in 1998, the kids I grew up with were using it ironically because it was so played out. Like, no way it made it all the way to 2012, and like now these kids are like,
we're not in the South.
It does, whatever. Like, I understand the mullet still exists unironically, but it feels like cracker is one of those things like because like that's the thing about African American and other black people, whether you be from Haiti or whatever, they're a little bit ahead of the trend. Like they realized the cracker had no teeth to it, so they stopped using it.
I don't know. Thomas?
Thomas?
Are you in Florida?
Jameson?
Jameson? You're not in Florida.
And so you rolled down your window.
I did.
Are you
And you
talking
asked
about
him,
me?
Are you talking about me?
I said, are you talking about me?
Okay, did you have a question about that?
I did, because, sometimes maybe you think...
Because maybe there was another white cracker bitch on the other side of their red SUV that they were now engaging with. So I wanted to be like, hey, cracker bitch number 1 or A designation, are you still talking about my pasty white insecure ass? Yay or nay?
I think it's about you and it's not. But I also didn't, I didn't want to assume. But at the same time, it was an opener to try to say, hey, I did say thanks. I appreciated it.
Hey, I did say thanks. So you don't have to call me a cracker. I did say thank you.
Yeah, I don't appreciate the cracker comment.
Thank you?
Again, trying to de-escalate.
There was nobody else in the car, was there?
There were 2 others in the car.
No. In your car.
No.
Okay, so you didn't think they were talking to somebody else in the car?
Well, they weren't talking to me.
I call my boss
They were
Cracker, my mom
talking-
Cracker, my bird Cracker, but then her name is Cracker.
Right. I would get that. Like, for whatever reason, you live in a zany part of the country and you get named Cracker, I'll take it.
My first college boyfriend, they called him Cracker Mike because he was a white dude who had a bunch of African American friends, and he was Cracker Mike, and there was Black Mike, and there was.
I moved through cliques and niches so fast. I never got any nicknames, but like I loved hanging out with all the black people. Like when in the old incarnation of the show, I had like, I don't know, it was like 4 or 5 black dudes that were all rappers in here, and we just had a blast. Like all the Mexican people I've ever hung out with. Like it's a trip to like hang out with other people that aren't just like, like Nestle the culture. Like it's something totally fabricated that you go like, well, because like it just seems like being white, every other culture has like connections to something. Mm-hmm. Whereas like if you're white, you can go like, well, I came from Europe. And you go, okay, what's up with that shit? And they go, well, I don't know, bread, swords at some point.
Unless you're Italian, then you're like.
Yeah, then it's like all about the fucking cheeses and the tomatoes. But like, if you can't say that you're like off the boat Italian, or like your great grandmother was constantly going pasta fazool or whatever, I'm just jealous because it feels like every other culture has something to offer, and I go, well,
here I am.
We took a lot of your stuff and made it worse, or at least watered down.
Talking about somebody, and that's why I asked.
Yeah, I think I picked that up. Mahoney.
But I always try to throw people off. Like I refer to other white people as gringos or Polish faces.
Polish faces. I don't know, man. Like I enjoyed being I know subject is the right word, but like exposed to all these cultures, because like it was nice to be like the white guy who knew at least a little bit. Like I can eat spicy food, so like all the Mexican dudes I work with, like I could hang with them and even out eat a lot of them, because some of them were just frankly pussies. They come in every color. But it's just nice to be able to move through. And Michael just seems like the kind of dude, like, if there's not a water cooler within 25 feet of him and like a potted ficus, like he's out of his fucking element. Like anything a shade darker than like pulled pork, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like it feels like he can't even stomach like the drive-thru at a Taco Bell. But there are so many cool things out there, and he's just like, well, whatever, blam, 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 blam.
Are you talking about me?
Are you talking about me, bitch?
I didn't know who they were talking about. I assumed they were talking about me, but I didn't.
Potted ficus
We're
is
going to
right.
talk about your high school career, Ryan, because Jesus Christ, you blew through the nicknames like the Flash through, a box of laxatives.
Want to just, start off with any old thing. That's what I thought of.
I mean, Thomas, you probably are familiar with the enchilito. I don't know why I'm bringing that up. It was just, something that is specific to Taco Bell, and I never ate because I was like, no thanks. No
Opener
thanks.
to de-escalate.
Okay, so you're telling this jury that
border fries too.
This guy who now is escalating.
Want one right now?
Here's the thing: the double-decker taco was when Taco Bell hit their peak, right? Because it's like they only have 3 to 5 ingredients. And the double-decker taco was everything, but that also predated like the chalupa and or gordita shell. When all we had was what we had from the beginning of time, they go, guess what? Soft tortilla, beans, hard shell, meat, cheese, lettuce. That's everything we offer, aside from all the stuff that they charge for the Supreme shit, which I didn't want. Mm-hmm. The double-decker taco was like, finding a diamond that grew inside of an emerald. Then they came up with all the fried shit and whatever.
I like their Doritos.
Locos, holy fuck.
I like the Doritos tacos.
I mean, I did not like them. I partook of the experiment and
you did
paid the price intestinally.
Mm-hmm.
Screaming that he's going to kill you, right?
Correct.
So you thought the best course of action is to roll down your window and say, "Excuse me,
can you kill me?"
Talking about me?
Correct.
That's what you thought the best idea was.
Volcano Taco. I can't believe Taco Bell is one of those companies that just has had a million products. Burger King's basically been doing their thing. Like McDonald's will bring out the Shamrock Shake or the McRib every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But like Taco Bell keeps trying these things and they go, anything? And
they still haven't closed though.
Yeah, that's the thing. But most of them, like Taco Bell consumers go, we already have diarrhea. It doesn't matter if you change the color or the smell.
Yes.
Thomas says, I remember we got a Taco Bell in Staten Island in the early 90s, and it was like, what do you mean I can get 50 of these for $4? And as into a teenager, that's a challenge more so than an offer.
Yo, like you ain't joking, man. Like I've talked about this before, but I'll bring it up because I love talking
White
about
Castle.
it. Fucking White Castle. When I moved to Chicago, they go, hey, welcome to White Castle. What can I get you? And I go, well, I've only got $6, so I can only get 4,200 sliders. And there's something nice in that feeling. Like, I love going to, I would definitely eat myself into a diabetic coma if they were available on the western portion of the United States. Thank God they're not. We just have this disgusting restaurant called In-N-Out Burger. But seriously, man, when it started, I visited Chicago. My friend goes, try White Castle. It's super addictive. I go, I don't know about that. I'll get 6 sliders. I go, we'll see what happens. Cut to, I'm moving there, and I'm in that position. You've probably seen it, like, those houses on Hoarders, or if you watch, like, Just Rolled In, or any of those, like, any weirdo who keeps trash, and you see like their car is nothing but solid trash except for where the driver can fit exactly because there's so much trash. Like that was me in White Castle, you guys. Like the Crave cases were everywhere. The little wrappers were just like, there was enough for me exactly in my truck. It was.
Oh yeah, there's Whataburger.
But who cares, right? I don't give a fuck. Whataburger's good. Here's the thing. Whataburger's good. It doesn't have a gimmick like In-N-Out does. In-N-Out doesn't taste any better than what it is. Mm-hmm. It's just that it's offered to you in portions of exactly one bite.
Right.
And that is addictive. That's why fat people will eat 17 trays of brownies if you cut them into half-inch cubes. Because you go, oh, well, I'm only eating...
like Munchkins.
Yeah.
People buy a thing of Munchkins and eat them all themselves.
Before you know it, your neck has, absorbed your chin and the rest of your head, and you look like a giant big toe. Ugh. I was fat.
Nothing for nothing, but they could have been singing. I didn't want to assume.
I think Ryan likes In-N-Out.
Talking about.
It doesn't matter if you do. It's still worse than White Castle. Like this isn't something we can debate. Like, which is easier to breathe, water or air? It's over.
Killing me if they were singing.
Are you singing or planning on killing me?
And said, are you talking about me? You were challenging this 17-year-old boy.
I don't believe so. I put the inflection on me.
Me?
Are you talking about me?
I could never work at White Castle because I just worked my way up until I got the keys and come in after hours and you just eat the place dry.
You don't even have to do that, Thomas. Like, I worked fast food. once you get comfortable and everybody knows you, you have carte blanche. Like, I would consider taking a drastic pay cut if somehow White Castle jumped the border of the Mississippi and they were here in Arizona. I would go, you know what? Cut 60% of my pay off my check if I get access to those goddamn sliders. Because I'm not a fan of Burger King necessarily, but when I worked there, guess who ate so much paper thin bacon that I probably should be dead? I just got access to the kitchen. They go, well, we'll stick to policies and procedures, and you get so much off the food that you order if you want to eat here or whatever. But before long, you're just literally eating handfuls of fries out of the fryer. You're making your own sandwiches and not giving a fuck. No way. You have 2 White Castles in Phoenix, Tony? Do not fucking lie to me.
You have made a very powerless Scottsdale and Tempe, says Tony. Very powerless, silly enemy, says Ryan.
Take this, Ryan. Don't make me put your name back up here to rip it down, because I'll do it. Tony, I hope you're right. And I hope. I don't want to go. I can't. I just can't.
No,
we can't.
You would die. They have to pull me away from the chicken ring fryos.
Right. Though, I'm saying, man, like, when you get access to things that, like, you wouldn't necessarily take for granted. You go, like, what would I do with an endless supply of X, right? And that X just happens to be like Burger King products, like their soda fountains, their shakes, anything you have at your disposal because you're working there. And once you're cool with everybody, no one gives a fuck how much of the food you eat, because most of it is going to go to waste anyway,
right,
because they have to keep a certain amount of shit in stock. And after a certain time period, it goes in the trash. So, like, I took that shit I hated Burger King fries, but when they were hot out of the fryer and, like, had the ability to kill me still, they were palatable.
MDMA, yes, right? Asks Maxwell, not Ryan.
So possibly, Ryan, I've told that story before where I was offered drugs. I don't know what, because I did not take them at a Burger King. It might have been ecstasy or something of the type, because it was a small pill that I understand this sort of drug comes in. But again, I didn't take it. I didn't feel like giving the dude 4 onion rings was worth, like, testing out this mystery chemical on my brain chemistry.
And the truth is, he took your challenge, didn't he? And said, yeah, I am talking to you.
He didn't say that. He said, yeah, I'm going to fucking kill you.
He didn't say that.
Well, I guess you got your answer, didn't you?
I guess.
You were being disrespected by a mouthy teenager, weren't you?
No, I was being threatened.
Respect is like the biggest thing to scumbags. Like, when every other currency is taken from you, respect is all you have. So, like, prison runs off of respect, which is just fear. Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
There's those things like respecting in prison because, like, oh, I've got respect. Like, yeah, because if someone goes against you, you're crazy enough to have them murdered. Right?
Right.
What's going on?
Was Burger King the same place your coworkers tried to sucker you into male prostitution or a BDSM ring or whatever it was?
I've told this story so many times, Thomas. Like, if you haven't gotten the details by now, I feel like it's not worth telling again. However, when I was an electrician, my coworker picked up a skag at a bar that I was interested in and fucked her in the same room that we slept in. He was in the bed 18 inches separated from mine. I was so drunk and angry, I could do nothing. I don't need to tell the story again. I just remember rolling over and seeing this coworker of mine railing this person I just met at a bar who, coincidentally, spilled her entire order of 6 street tacos all over my fucking bed. I look over, and there they are, majestic light of the Yuma, Arizona moon casting through the window, illuminating my coworker and the skag he is banging just in time for him to pull out and, like, give her a couple smacks with his joint. Why did you bring that up God damn it.
Threatening to kill somebody isn't a disrespect. That
Goodyear's
is just
even
crazy.
farther.
There's no way I'm going to Goodyear. Good night is what I'll say. It wasn't Burger King.
The windows of the SUV are tinted, correct?
The front ones where I couldn't tell you about the rear, I never saw them up.
Okay, and I think you told the jury that you couldn't even see the guy sitting next to you, right?
I couldn't see the front passenger, no.
You know who that is now?
Yes,
Tevin Thompson?
yes.
Okay, you knew there was a guy in the back seat, right?
Yeah, there were two in the back seat.
Right. And you knew there was a driver, right?
Obviously.
Pretty
Yeah, I
sure.
assumed the driver was in the store, but I did
This is way before Waymo. Way watered down.
see a young man walk by, when I went to ask if they were talking about me.
Okay, well, that's 3, right?
Well, that would have been the 4th.
Well, you couldn't see Tevin Thompson, could you?
I could see that somebody was there, and obviously,
He was one of those indistinct blobs that was like mist-like and ethereal, but I still took as a definite threat enough to like shoot bullets towards. So it's in that uncanny valley, let's call it, between like cloud-like non-threat and definite murderous rage.
Yeah.
Somewhere in between there. So I shot and shot and shot.
when I asked to turn the music down, the music was off, and there's somebody there by the controls.
So now you could see somebody in that.
I saw like a shape. I couldn't see his face or
Saw the shadow.
really
Alec
tell
Baldwin from 1994.
where he was
Hasn't been brought up in a while.
facing front or back, but you could.
I was just thinking about the shadow from 1994 because there's some bumper stickers out there that say, I'd rather be watching the 1991 classic with Brendan Fraser's all about the mummy. Thought that'd be funnier if it were about the 1994 classic Alec Baldwin vehicle, The Shadow.
But you could see like a shape.
All right, well, they didn't have any lights on in their car, did they?
It's like The Phantom
I don't
starring
believe so.
Billy Zane.
Okay, and it was nighttime,
Shut up, Maxwell. God damn it.
right?
Dusk.
Kids.
And you've seen the pictures of the car now,
He
right?
can't even drink yet.
He was born the same year The Shadow, starring Alec Baldwin, hit theaters. He fought Genghis Khan's distant relative who had the ability, for just really quick to digress, because that's all we're doing this episode. Like Genghis Khan's great-great-great-great-grandnephew or whatever moves to New York and is able to hypnotize everyone in the city to not only believe that a giant building is now just a vacant lot, and not only that it's so useless and worthless in New York where like a square centimeter of rat shit is worth $14 billion. He's just like, there's just an empty lot in New York. He's just like, stay out. It's just dirt.
Don't forget Tim Curry, says Thomas.
And the dad from Alpha, I want to say, was in that too. Like he was a night watchman, and like he's the one who shows up and like gets brain blasted by Genghis Khan Jr. or whatever. Great movie.
Hi, Matt.
Fucking Alec Baldwin in his prime, playing a like golden era. I mean, you guys seen it? It's a classic. 1994, The Shadow, starring Alec Baldwin.
Yes.
The windows are tinted, all of them.
Well, the rear windows, I haven't seen up. I assume they're tinted, but I haven't seen them.
Why wouldn't
Dark
you?
tint, right?
That's what I understand. The darkest legal tint.
Yeah, I remember that, Thomas. You had to sneak in and like that's the thing. It was one of those old timey comics that like you could just ship yourself in like a giant pot or whatever. Like it was an old Simpsons trope where like Milhouse got a monkey because there was one and passed out in the basket they bought at Pier 1. But yeah, that's the thing. Like the dad from Alf is like looking around and sees like Genghis Khan come out of a sarcophagus. What a wild time to be alive in the 90s. God damn it. Makes you really hate it, Michael Dunn.
You're telling this jury that through the dark tent at night, you were able to see Jordan Davis bend forward.
Oh no, you misunderstand. The rear windows were down.
Okay, so you can
Both
see
sides. So I can see light coming through.
And light
And all
going
I really saw
through.
of him is his shoulders leaning forward because, you know, the door, his door is higher than mine.
So you're saying that Leland Brunson's window was down too?
Yes.
And you could see through the door that he was bending forward?
No, I could see over the
No.
door, through the window, that his shoulders leaned forward.
Through the wall.
Didn't you write in your letter that he bends forward and picks up something with both hands?
Right, because of the shoulders. If he
So
had
you-
done this or that, that would, to me, indicate one hand, but both shoulders.
Okay. So
So did his head impact the center console or like the seat in front of him? If that's
Rested
the
his
case?
forehead against the seat.
And I don't know if you've ever been in the back of an SUV with like a bench seat. Like, where are you going to reach down and pull up a full-blown shotgun? Where are you keeping that? Or stick?
We're just assuming now through the door that he used both hands.
Yeah, I'm extrapolating.
He was extrapolated to death.
Mm-hmm.
Further,
Sprite.
Furthermore.
I'm going to object to this as being non-responsive.
Mr. Dunn, you just need to wait for another question, all right?
yes,
Your Honor, objected. He objected to Michael.
Yeah.
And
Don't open your
this
mouth,
guy
Michael.
who's enraged, right?
yeah, I mean, he's just
Yelling,
amping up.
screaming.
He was pumping up the jams.
Literally.
You know, yelling. Yes,
Threatening to kill you.
yes,
Now he's got a shotgun, right?
Is he shooting you?
yep.
And he opens
He's telling you to get away from his daughter or make an honest woman out of her, right? Because, you know, those single barrel shotguns, single shot, you know, he's like, yeehaw, he's got the overalls with the one thing undone. Shotgun, that's the thing. Shotguns are not weapons that like roll around places. I feel like you want something, or you know, if I were a criminal, I want something
Portable? Easily
What?
portable, I should say.
not portable necessarily, but like disguisable. Because
Yeah.
like, what's the name, Burris, who like took a gun into a club and shot himself in the leg. Like, you want something small enough where like you're not going to be immediately identified as having it. And like, I get why a policeman would have a shotgun in their car because they would need it.
Mm-hmm.
But when they get out and run to the place, unless they go back and need the shotgun, they've got a gun on their hip.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, like, all the other interrogations and true crime cases where a gun is involved, it's seldom a shotgun unless it's like premeditated and it's like done in the bedroom. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're gonna get killed by a shotgun, 9 times out of 10, it's your wife or husband doing it, and they already thought it up a year ago because you stepped out on them, or like you accidentally burned through all their money and they don't know about it.
Right.
Something like that.
opens his door, right?
Right, now remember, he unlatched it. It's only open a little bit
Ugh.
when he hollers, "You're dead, bitch."
Okay, but you said he got out.
He did after that.
Did.
Okay, so he
It's
did
kind of
open the
like,
door.
He unlatched the door. It popped open slightly. He said, "You're dead, bitch." Then he finished opening the door and stepped out, at which point I had roughly 45 seconds to say, "I'm not going to die today, bitch." Reach into my glove box, lick the gun, rack one, and, you know, the whole nine. You saw it earlier.
it's just like I said, it keeps getting worse.
He did open the door.
Yep, he popped it open
Okay.
a little, and then he opened it all the way.
Whoa.
Well, you know, most of the way.
Aggressive.
And can you show the jury on States 125 where the ding is in your door,
I
where
don't
this
think he
madman
hit
opened the
me.
door?
I don't think it hit me.
So the guy who's enraged, who's next to you, is opens the door and doesn't hit your car?
Gently.
Apparently not.
It was a gentle rage, Your Honor. Objection? Gentle rage?
But if you look at the rear
Relevance?
of a Durango,
Grounds?
it's by the wheel well, and their door isn't. It isn't like a sedan where they would hit you. It's a little high.
And tell the jury how close the two cars were.
They were pretty close.
How close?
Pretty?
I couldn't tell you feet wise, but I know the Durango is parked close to the white line separating our two spots.
Well, you put that fact in your letter too, didn't you?
I did.
Okay, and what you said in your letter
Hot damn, he's able to remember that shit. But why? Earlier he was like, I sort of recall.
was
Now he's all about the fucking white lines.
there was a red SUV to the left that was parked too close to the right of its space for me to exit my car.
Correct.
So you couldn't open
You were on the driver's side and they were on the passenger side.
No.
I feel like, right?
They were on his left side, pulling in from what? So I don't know. What I imagine in my head.
Maybe I'm crazy, but I remember seeing footage because, yeah, no, they were on the passenger side of the car because he came out of his car and walked around the back as they were driving away because he had to go around the back of his car to keep shooting them as they were escaping. So they were totally on the passenger side.
couldn't open your door, right?
I could, but it wouldn't have been comfortable.
Okay, but he can open his door in a rage and not hit your car.
Obviously, because that's what happened.
Obviously.
So yes.
And
So yes. Jury, that's the point. If we're done.
That doesn't make sense what you said. Because if he saw what's his nuts, the kid that he shot, get out of the car on the passenger side near him, that doesn't make sense that they were on the other side of his car.
Back passenger, but still on the driver's side. I swear to God. Please.
But the kid was on the passenger side. He was behind the passenger.
Right, but maybe when he jumped back in or whatever, like if the story doesn't make sense. If I were on the driver's side and I'm looking out the window and this white pasty bitch is pulling a gun out, I would try to get away so I would be on the passenger side by the time I'm shot. But I swear, look up the footage. You have a tablet right there. Look it up. I'm saying we can figure this out right now. I swear to you, he was on the passenger side. Because when Rhonda comes out, she goes, "Oh my God!" And he's like, I can see him shooting from behind the thing. I swear to you, it has to be this.
if he would have gotten out of the car, there would have been a door in between you two, right?
There was.
So he would have had to close the door, step back, close the door, and then come forward, right?
I guess, or
yes.
fire over the door. I couldn't tell you what his strategy was.
That'd be stupid.
And so it was at that point that you grabbed your gun, right?
When he exited his car and hollered, "This shit's going down now," I had already been afraid for my life, but now the fear was imminent, and I was done. I mean, this is serious.
Right. If the fear was there, it can't be imminent. But if you're, like, if there's an imminent threat to your life, it means you haven't been killed yet, but the threat is imminent. It's coming. If you feel fear, but then you said the fear is imminent, did the fear reside and you were afraid it was going to come back in like a wave? The fear was imminent. I was afraid, but then it was imminent.
Eminent.
I think he meant urgent or emergent, maybe, but like, since he doesn't have Papa, the defense attorney, being like, they might say something, don't go off script. And he's like, it's definitely imminent fear.
Serious. And I took him at his word. I mean, he's been telling me he's going to kill me.
He's a man of his word. He says he's going to kill me. I believe him.
And now he's telling me it's going to happen now. I'm not going to forfeit my life to somebody.
And he's outside the car.
But I'll gladly shoot three
Okay, and
teenagers.
it's at that point that you reach over for the glove box, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you have to reach for the glove box, right?
Yes.
You have to open the glove box.
Yes.
You have to grab your gun.
Yes.
You have to pull the gun out.
Yes.
You have to essentially run your tongue along the barrel and sort of into the barrel at the hole. You know what I'm talking about? You go, la, 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 and just, you know, Michael?
You have to take the holster off.
Yes.
You have to pull the slide back, right?
Right. I have to cock it.
Then
So
you
it
have
wasn't
to
one in the
turn,
chamber.
right?
Yes.
And point the gun, right?
Yes.
And then heroically shout, "You're not going to kill me today, you bitch," or whatever it's fucking.
You had to put your middle finger
up
through the trigger
in
guard,
a bird.
right? Because you're
Right. I demonstrated all
finger
this. I did it in about 2 seconds.
Okay, and in all that time, the guy who was outside the car threatened to kill you, he didn't shoot you?
Well, he did not.
Luck, I
Thankfully.
guess.
I mean, we didn't miss that, right? I mean, he didn't shoot you, right? He didn't shoot at you.
You know, if you listen to the video,
There might be a gunshot, but, allegedly no shots were fired except for my gun. Not even, nothing came out of their stick either. Nothing.
some kind of pop. I don't know if that was him or
soda or murder.
Somebody else, but...
Hold on. Are you telling this jury that Jordan Davis discharged a firearm at you?
I have no knowledge of what he did or didn't do.
Well,
you were
know
there.
What a shotgun sounds like, right?
Sure.
It's not quiet, is it?
No, it's a boom. It's a distinctive boom.
Okay, so I can't find.
You would.
I'm telling you.
I don't think so, because they wouldn't have shown the left side of his
I'm not
car.
sure what the heck that is.
For a
But
dent.
It's not a shotgun going on.
No.
So you were not shot
Just
at.
now.
Well,
if the kid was in the passenger
don't know.
seat behind and he opened his door, it would have been into the driver's side. God damn it.
I'll concede the point because it's really not important. Like, the kid's dead and, like, he just, whatever. Just in my head, it always seemed like he knew it was there. Because, I don't know. I've seen the interrogation footage so many times. It's just the way he tells the story. He's, like, yelling through, like, that's what makes it more of an asshole move to me, too, is, like, in my head, since he's shouting across the empty passenger seat out that window to them, maybe I'm just buttering the toast of asshole a little too liberally, but it still feels like, whatever, he's guilty. He's in jail.
Yeah.
Whether I'm wrong or right, fuck him.
no, I'm just telling you what I heard on the
Radio.
audio.
Oh.
You guys will hear it.
Radio.
So,
You'll hear it.
The guy that got out, wanting to kill you, telling he was going to kill you, watched you do all those things and didn't shoot you.
Your Honor, asked an answered objection.
Sustained.
Did you say,
Doesn't Michael, now I'm looking at him like just like tied into a true crime reference, a little bit like Chad Daybell? Like the whole like pink mud skipper toad just sort of like coming out of the mud for the first time only to be accused of murder and thrown away for the rest of your life?
did you say on direct that you thought he might just be out there to beat you? Didn't you say beat me?
I also said to the detectives that I thought he might bite my ear. Oh, shit, why did I say that? That makes me look like an idiot.
I wasn't really sure what his intentions were. You know, he's saying
That's why I had to kill him.
He didn't say, I'm going to beat you up. But
My intentions are vague, but ominous. And I said, no, not today, you son of a bitch. And I blasted him.
Said you're dead, bitch.
you know, he's enraged. I have no idea what his intentions are. And quite frankly, I don't want to find out.
And how tall are you?
I'm 6'4".
And how much did you weigh?
Damn.
At the time, 250 plus, 280.
Okay, Jordan Davis was
250 plus, 280. What? If I were 280, I wouldn't say 250 plus. 250 plus to me reads 250 plus, but no more than 260.
Right.
I
Yeah,
would
give
go
or take.
250 plus 400.
Davis was measured at 5'11", 145 with all his clothes on. Does that sound about right?
And if it was nude, stop thinking about that, Michael, you pervert.
Couldn't tell you.
So you were worried that this guy who's 100 pounds less than you?
I tell you, anybody with a gun is deadly.
Right, but he
you
didn't
were
have
worried he was
one.
going to beat you up, right?
Well, you know, if he has, I'm sitting in a car and he comes at me with a metal object, I mean...
He'd have to somehow get inside my car, which is protecting me. And it's made of metal, so I guess... Well, I'm sorry, what was the question?
Where are we?
But
He said, you're dead, bitch. He said, you're dead, bitch, and he grabs the judge's gavel and he goes, case closed.
at the time, his threats and actions left no doubt in my mind that that was a firearm.
But I am a pussy and scared of basically anything. So, you know what? Jury?
It looked like a firearm. He was treating it like a firearm. He wasn't saying,
Was
I'm
treating it
going
like
to
a
beat
firearm.
you up.
He took it out to dinner like a firearm. He made love to it like a firearm.
He was saying, I'm going to kill you.
So
You're
you-
dead.
You said to him, you're not going to kill me, you son of a bitch.
That's right.
Right? And you're telling this jury you didn't raise your voice when you did that?
It takes longer than 2 seconds to go, "You're not going to kill me, you son of a bitch." But like he somehow squeezed that into the 2 seconds where he was able to get into his glove box, pull out the gun, unholster it, rack a round into the chamber. And as all that's happening, he's going, "You're not going to kill me today, you son of a bitch." Like he had to stop performing actions to finish his one-liner. It took so long.
I said that more of to myself. I mean,
Not today, Michael. No one fucks with Michael Dunn and gets away with it, especially with loud, booming music that he finds personally offensive. Not that he can hear necessarily the lyrics, but the bass is loud. Blam, 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 blam.
2 seconds.
Michael.
Like the gun. You forgot to lick the gun.
inside the car getting my my pistol.
My wallet.
So I'm not saying it to him. I'm saying this is a think that I'm saying out loud.
Okay, did you say it?
I had to think, and it came out as a noise.
Out loud?
Yes, I did.
And you don't think this guy heard you?
I hope he did.
You hope he did?
Sure, that's part
Sure.
of any.
Yeah, I hope that kid who didn't have a weapon heard me say, "You're not going to kill me, you son of a bitch." So he was totally confused as his last fleeting moments of life drained away in the dude's back seat. What the fuck was that guy talking about? Dead?
Self-defense
Nice,
is you want
Michael.
to yell and kind of like stun your attacker.
Right, and when you yell, you're not going
And you continue to stun them by firing at them as they're running away or driving away. Stunned as shit. Pow, 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 pow.
to kill me, you son of a bitch. He still didn't fire?
Thankfully, no.
Weird, right?
Oh.
It's like he didn't have a gun.
In your letter, you say, I mean, the way you described it, it happened all very fast, right? You said just a couple of seconds? Right?
From the time where he first popped his door and said, "You're dead, bitch,"
Right.
and then where he opened the door and
And I went through my rigmarole and I said, "You're not going to kill me today or ever, you
5 and
son
a
of a
half
bitch.
seconds.
I'm Michael Peter Dunn, born 1960." Bam, 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 bam.
started getting out and said, "This shit's going down now." I mean, it maybe a couple heartbeats in between
How slow is your heartbeat,
saying
Michael?
I'm dead and then getting out.
Like, "This shit's going down now" is something you say when, the last straw breaks the camel's back. Like, you're a couple rival friend groups who are, violent toward one another. And like, that's something that comes to a head and finally bursts the cork, right? You go, "This shit's going down now." It's not like someone who rolls up next to you in a parking lot, you have a grand total of 4 seconds of interaction to go like, "This shit's going down now." Like Mr. Krabs and Plankton style rivalry over decades. It's like, dude's like, "Can you turn your music down?" He's like, "Fuck you. This shit's going down now." This, like, Michael's a high-level, high-priced target to be just taking out in a QT parking lot.
Yep.
Like, that's the great thing about QT. It's like you can run in and grab a pack of menthols and take out high-level targets like Michael Dunn. 'Cause they're always in the same spot.
And in your letter, didn't you say that you were paralyzed with fear?
I was when
FDR style?
I asked him, "Are you talking about me?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm going to effing kill you."
You're not going to kill me, bitch.
Had he decided to shoot me through the car, that would have been the time to do it.
But
And
you-
I was paralyzed, and I wouldn't have been able to react.
So he's saying he could have shot you, but he didn't because he
Yeah.
didn't have a gun?
Yeah, stick. Maybe.
But somehow the paralysis just left you.
Well, when he opened this door and came after me and announced that this shit was going down now, yes, it did.
And that's what you put in your letter, that something happened inside of me, my paralysis left me.
My
That's
Bell's
accurate.
palsy was cured.
Again, this letter wasn't for you all. This was for my family and friends. I had no idea.
I can't believe the jail opened up my mail and took photocopies of it, especially during my impending trial. I mean, they said anything I say can and will be used against me, but they never said what I wrote.
that
Idiot.
you would have access to my mail. But I'm happy that you read this so you can understand what I went through.
So happy.
And the jury will have this.
Because
I'm
this is
happy that you
accurate.
do.
right?
It's as accurate as I can get. This was written in June, and it pretty much covers the nightmare.
Right. You know how like the Bible is so old, a lot of scholars go like, who knows how it's changed over the thousands of years. Michael wrote this in June. Right? Like half of it is lost and they won't find it for another 1,500 years in a clay pot in the middle of Israel, right? Buried in a sand structure, maybe in a pyramid. And they go, oh, the dead done scrolls. The whole letter can be revealed. He did turn racism into wine.
That I have.
This is as accurate as I can attest to.
And you shot from inside your car, right?
Church of Jesus, Son of Latter-day Morons.
But this guy didn't, right? He had to get out of the car to shoot.
He had a long gun, so I guess maybe that's why I couldn't tell you about his tactics. I can just tell you what I did.
And you, when you fired, you didn't fire a warning shot, right?
Of course not.
Like, never mind, but tactics is a little bit of a grandiose term. Like, I don't know, like maybe he was reading The Art of War and he was looking to integrate into my family, breed with my women, and take us down slowly from within. I don't know. I just started firing.
Of course not.
I mean, you didn't fire up in the air.
Of course not.
You didn't fire down at the ground.
Why would I? This guy is...
The ground or the sky were no threat to me, sir. It was the black people. They're always threatening me. I see them driving places. That's threatening. Ordering food at restaurants. I feel threatened.
The sky didn't call me a bitch.
Yeah, the sky's blue, Your Honor. I mean, maybe the asphalt, because let's be real. But, like, I use that. It's one of the good ones, as we like to say in Racistville. Michael Dunn, you piece of shit.
Made his intentions clear.
So you put it right on the door.
I have every right of self-defense, and I took it.
They asked the question.
My house is my car, and my car was my castle. So I invoked the castle doctrine. And I said, not today, you son of a bitch. You're not killing me.
You aimed right at the door.
Yes, sir. I pointed at the direction of my attacker.
Which was the door?
And pulled the trigger, right?
Yes, sir.
Tons of times.
So you hit your target?
You know, I was pointing towards my attacker. I hit the door. And
You killed a kid. Like, way diminished. Like, talk about, downplaying. Like, so you shot at a kid and you killed him, right? Well, I was shooting at a door and I hit the door. That's all I know, for sure.
The door got hit.
I saw the door. So I guess charge me for the door. Case closed, Judge?
And
New Durango door, courtesy Michael Dunn.
unfortunately, he was right there behind the door.
Which you knew because you were shooting at him. Who was
Again, the jury's right here, my guy. Like, to be like, well, I shot at the door. It wasn't like, because here, like, the story according to him is like, he's out with a gun, he's in, and his feet are hanging out like a Weekend at Bernie's type skit. Like, he's saying, I'll kill you, bitch, or he's running away. He's on the far side, he's on the near side. Like, again, if I'm devil's advocate, I'm the jury member who's able to control my facial expressions and I'm not kicked out immediately. I'm just thinking, like, I'm not even finding any unreasonable doubt.
My intention was to stop the attack.
From the door.
Not necessarily end a life. It just worked out that way.
With two hands, right? Two hands on the gun?
That's why I invented this death
sir.
ray for peaceful
remember
purposes.
Sean Atkins, the inmate who testified? Mm-hmm. When he did that demonstration like this, that was accurate, right?
That was accurate when the SUV was driving away, and I opened my door and I took a little hop out and did that.
How many?
Just a little bunny hopping across the parking lot of a QT, blasting away at some poor kids. Boing, 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 blam, 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 blam. Throwing out brightly colored eggs.
How many hands did you use the first time then?
2. I was across my body.
And the car started backing out, didn't it?
It did, and as I mentioned earlier, I had tunnel vision. The red wall of the doors going by didn't register right away. And, that's why you have 3 additional rounds in the front passenger. It didn't register what was going on immediately.
Okay.
Yeah, when you're levying deadly force at someone, the last thing you want to do is like be aware of your surroundings. Because God forbid you take into consideration civilians, children, other people's property. It's just like, hey, the most important thing is your ass, Michael. Like, you're at a gas station. There's like a huge propane tank, probably not spitting distance from you. The gas pumps are right there. Just, while you're firing, why don't you light up a real long Cruella de Vil style cigarillo, my dude?
Why is the core audience in the black void of nothingness?
Because they shipped him back to the 90s, and he's like, it's going to turn into a milk commercial later.
Yeah.
Later. He's like, hey, shooting kids in an SUV, it does a body bad. And his head pops.
Oh.
Okay, but when you say you had tunnel vision, you're not saying you didn't realize you were continuing to pull the trigger.
I really didn't. I mean, this whole how many and this and that, I thought I shot 3. Rhonda Soul told me she heard 4, and then we see there were 6. I mean, it's just the perceptions are off.
Well, actually, there were 7, right? You missed one.
Okay.
Whoops.
So are you telling us, Drew, you blacked out during that period?
I didn't black out, but the adrenaline and everything that's happening kind of affects your perception.
And especially in hindsight, when you realize you went out the deep end because you're 6 Jack and Cokes into your kid's wedding, and you realize you're not drunk enough, so you send your wife into the QT to get 6 or 8 bottles of Boone's Farm so you can continue the after party with that aforementioned Domino's pizza and your dog Charlie.
And
fear.
And then they were out of your view, right?
Well, they went behind me.
Right. So you got out of your car.
I opened my door.
And
got out and hopped.
I think I maybe took a kneel or a step away.
Okay. You want to?
In my head, I see the footage, and he's walking because he has to walk around his car to like keep shooting. It's not like he's doing a little bunny hop or just like shoulder rolling out into a grassy knoll to take cover.
Look at page 2 of your letter for me. When you describe getting out of your car, and I can. And
fear.
And then they were out of your view, right?
Well, they went behind me.
Right. So you got out of your car.
I opened my door.
Are you saying you didn't get out of your car?
I think I maybe took a kneel or a step away.
Okay. You want to look at page 2 of your letter for me?
I took a kneel or a
When
step
you
away.
describe getting out of your car, and I can show you where it is. It's right there in the middle.
Pretty good. Bet you can, Travis.
You want me to point it to you?
I'm finding it.
The sentence
It
begins.
says I ran a few feet behind my car. I think I ran a few feet from my car.
Okay, but you wrote.
But you literally just said you took a kneel or a single step. You ran a few feet. Like, again, the jury's right there. He keeps telling you. You've mentioned them. You pointed at them once. Like, I feel like every time you get caught in like a dumbass lie, he just should like really quick shoot over the jury and be like, sorry, I'm trying. Anyway, what?
Sure, but
In your statement, the SUV pulled forward, and I got out of my car and ran a few feet behind my car.
right, and I'm telling you, I probably should have written from my car.
Okay, so what was it? Because just a minute ago you said you did a kneel down.
Yeah, like a few feet from my car.
I'm sorry?
I kneeled down. I got out of my driver's seat, took a step or 2, and then kneeled down.
Okay.
Well, we've really come a long way from like the admission of, well, I opened my door. Okay, so we got that. Well, then I just kneeled down. I stepped and kneeled. Okay. Well, the letter says you were running a marathon. Well, it was like a 5K, right? I ran a 5K. I took a knee, surveyed the situation, finding more people of color to shoot, and I did it because I'm Michael Dunn. Okay?
Okay. And where was the red SUV then? It wasn't behind your car then.
No, it was driving forward. But
It's like
this
7
is where
miles
they
away.
Had,
I had to quickly down under pull out my Sharps rifle, and it took me 14 minutes, but then I fired a single shot, and their gas tank exploded.
Oh my
I was
God.
like, gas station, loud music, taken care of, and I
Mission
pulled up my
accomplished.
boots and Rhonda said, "What's going on? Michael, you're so strong and handsome." And I said, "Don't worry about it, baby. Charlie needs a walk. That Domino's pizza ain't going to eat itself."
A line from me to the front door. So not only was I saving my life, I was saving Rhonda's from blind fire.
Right, you knew Rhonda was standing
It's
outside.
hypothetical blind
I
fire.
was afraid that that's where she would be.
You were wrong, though. She wasn't, was she?
No.
Well, you know what? About 2 seconds later, she was. So my fear was well-founded.
Well, she didn't come out until you stopped firing, right?
I couldn't tell you exactly when she came out.
Well, seeing as how you're the only one who fired and she came out once the shots were finished being fired, yeah. Because who else had a gun, Michael?
Yeah, she's not an idiot and wouldn't walk out of a store while there's shots fired.
That limb of an ash that they had in the car probably didn't put off many rounds, right?
Came out, but the time it took me to walk those 2 steps and get in the car, she was coming out.
So tell me again, or tell us again why you fired. I mean, they're driving away now, right?
At that point, they're driving away.
Right.
Why I fired, there's at least 1 firearm and 4 shooters in a car that just threatened to kill me.
Who, again, have not, they said they were going to kill you and then gave you the courtesy of giving you, whatever, basically the length of a commercial break to, get into your glove box and write a poem to yourself about how you're not going to go out gently into that dark night. And still, you're like, well, here we are. I've shot them. Their car is full of holes. They still could start firing.
Right.
So just in case, I'll just, pop off a few more rounds to dissuade them from firing yet.
Mm-hmm.
Not further, not again, but yet.
Just period.
At all. Right? Because dude had menthols. He didn't have a shotgun.
4 shooters threatened to kill you? Is that what you just said?
I said there's at least 1 firearm and at least 4 shooters in a car.
So they could be passing that shotgun around, licking the barrel like I was doing to my Glock. La, la, la.
That just threatened to kill me.
Okay, how many of the other shooters had guns?
I don't know, but there's at least 1 gun, and any one of them could have used it.
Oh.
See, to me, though, if you're going to be a shooter, you better have a gun. If someone says, "Oh, my God, there's 4 shooters in the building."
They all have a gun.
And they go, "Look, here's the CCTV." And there's 3 dudes, with paddle balls, just doing, doing, doing. And 1 dude with a gun looking around suspiciously. I would go, "No, we've got 1 shooter and 3 well-wishers. 3 paddleball enthusiasts." It's not like they're going to play hot potato with this imaginary gun.
Right.
I
And
wouldn't
one
say
guy's driving.
if a bunch of dudes show up and 1 dude pulls out a gun, I'm like, "There's 40 shooters."
Huh.
Okay, so they were going to pass it around?
I have no idea, sir. I'm just telling you what I was thinking.
Puff, puff,
Okay,
blast,
but the
right?
fact is, nobody did
one.
fire back, did they?
No?
And nobody stuck
there
a
was no
gun
gun.
out the window at you, did they?
Yes, they did.
No, when they're pulling away.
No, they didn't.
Let that sink in for a sec.
So you killed a kid because your feelings were hurt, because you were being a dickhead.
Yeah.
Jury? Poll?
Wonder how long they deliberated for.
And you said that the
14
police,
minutes.
they asked you about those shots, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah, and your words
Totally.
to the police was, "I can't justify that last volley."
Other than to say, and then I got cut off.
Did you not tell the police, I can't justify that last volley"?
Other than to say, and then I got cut off. So
Then finish it. Then just be like, "And then I got cut off." Wouldn't now be a perfect time to be like, other than to
Yeah.
say, "And I was going to say," and then fill in that blank, just be like, "I had a great excuse."
And here it is.
The prosecutor's missing it too. Be like, "Okay, what was it, Michael?" Because he doesn't have it.
No.
So yes, I did say what you said, but I also continued the sentence with "other than to justify,"
And then you would have said,
or
And
or
I guess you're telling this jury
Nice.
that you thought that might shoot back at
Judge.
you.
Did the
Right.
jury reach a verdict?
was my
Jury.
fear.
What do you
Okay.
mean? Yes.
So your thought was, "I'll get out of my car and get into the open."
yes.
well, it was to try to get out of the line of fire.
Okay, but wouldn't that put you in the line of
I mean, you guys play Gears of War, right? You probably about my age. You know that classic Gears of War mechanic where you just jump out of the place you're hiding and just get blasted to shit with zero cover by the locusts, because that's the way you do shit. Like, you leave cover to just let some quartet of dudes pass around a shotgun, and I go blam, pop, shell flies out, next dude gets the gun, pops the shell in, pops it, blam, oh, that's fun, next dude, for 4 times?
line of fire? If you're
Not
outside
necessarily,
the car?
because if you get behind them, they can't shoot behind them as easily as they can beside them.
That makes
And
sense.
if you look at the rear bullet holes, they were from behind it.
Oh,
Right, so you were behind the car shooting it in the rear? It would be amazing if you were able to shoot it in the ass from the front.
Yeah.
Very few videos I've seen that happen.
definitely they were.
And not
And I
beside it.
think you said at one point you were shooting to keep their heads down?
Right, that's the blind fire.
Were their heads
keep
near
their
their
heads down
tail
so they
lights,
would not
Michael?
shoot back.
Okay, what's blind fire?
That's where they just shoot over blindly without aiming.
Like if you gave Daredevil a gun?
Okay, so you were worried that these guys were just going to kind of...
Oh, he's blind.
Yes.
So you said you're going to shoot to keep their heads down, right?
Well, I'm shooting low, but my
To keep their asses up.
my gun climbed.
Well,
Well,
if you were shooting to keep their heads down, why'd you put 2 in the rear tail light?
Well, you know, if you shoot even missing and hitting the ground, it's noise, and maybe they would duck.
Right, but you have some sort of moral high ground against shooting the ground or, ironically, or into the sky. So if you were going to shoot the ground, wouldn't now be the right time? You say, absolutely not earlier, but now that they're getting away, anywhere is better than nothing. But you're aiming for their asses. Keep your heads down. Like if I went, like an old-timey Western movie, if I wanted to make some poor drunk asshole dance in the street, I'm shooting at his feet. I'm not like shooting at his armpits to be like, dance. Because you need to, I mean, does that make sense to you guys?
And, you know,
what's
Matt
the
Murdock
difference?
and Wanda
you're asking me
Maximoff?
why I didn't shoot.
One can cope without vision. I got you.
To kill.
I don't know who Wanda, whatever is.
WandaVision. Wanda and Vision are married in that. She's the Scarlet Witch, married to
Oh.
Vision.
Oh,
I feel like this doesn't need to be here or there, but like, I feel like Ultron was at one point having sex with the Scarlet Witch, maybe in the Ultimates. I don't know why. Just comic books, right, guys? It's weird. Robots are always having sex.
I was shooting to keep
Allegedly.
their heads down, not to kill.
Into the tail light.
Correct.
How many heads did you see back there?
I mean,
And then you put your gun back in the glove box, right?
I did.
I did.
Even though these, I think you called them gangsters, even though these gangsters were still out there, right?
Right, and my gun was ready to fire at that time. It was fully loaded.
He fully loaded it again after he emptied a clip?
I don't believe so, because if he fired 7 shots, he's probably rocking a magazine that holds between 12 and 15. That's the thing about this. You can't rewrite history to be like, yeah, I was so scared that I made all the preparations of hiding a crime. Because that's what you do when you're scared, right? Like, if you're scared someone's going to break into your house, first thing you do is start throwing electromagnets on all the hard drives of your computers to wipe out everything that might be used as evidence against you because you're afraid.
Right.
You know, like if someone comes at you with a knife, you go, whoa, let me clear my browser history on my phone. That's the type of shit you do if you're Michael Dunn, because you're...
Well, had 5 rounds, but there was 1 in the barrel.
But, I mean, you saw them pull off and go, you thought they were on Southside Boulevard, right?
I did.
Totally.
And so they weren't a threat to you anymore, right?
Correct.
So you were safe, right?
Well, I didn't know if they were coming back or if there were other, if they had friends in the parking lot. I was petrified.
Did you see any other friends in the parking lot?
No, but I didn't look either.
Okay, I mean, Steve Smith, he was in the parking lot, right?
Yeah, and I didn't see him.
Did you think he was one of their friends?
No, I didn't even see him.
Did you think Sean Atkins was one of their friends?
I didn't see these people. I had,
Do you think Sean Astin was one of their friends? Because that'd be a good get.
Mm-hmm.
you know, the tunnel vision going.
So you were imagining that there might be another car?
Well, you know, you hear enough news stories and you read about these things, they go.
If you watch enough Fox News and you're white and you get a gun and you basically just got a bloodlust for anyone darker than your shade of skin, I mean, how can you blame me, right? I mean, fuck it, we'll do it live. Bam, 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 bam. You watch enough news stories and rap music will make you kill someone. Like, what a great progression, right? Like, I watched so many news stories about how the world was going to shit that I became part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know those news stories that you hear about murder all the time? One of those is about me now. Whoops.
Hey.
They go through your mind.
You thought everybody in the car was a thug or a gangster, right?
After the way they behaved, yes, I
After.
did. The thoughts.
The way they behave?
Well, the one man in particular, but his neighbor seemed to have been in a.
You know, man and his neighbor. Like, he was assaulting Mr. Rogers and Mr. it was McFeely, the speedy delivery guy. Speedy delivery.
I don't know what their names are.
Yeah, well, he's like talking about this man and his they're two gentlemen, like a man about town, being like, "Oh, you've got a problem on my music? Fuck you." These, Mr. McFeely, thank you. These are kids. They're fucking teenagers, and he is an old man. So I'd be like, well, this gentleman was. Like, if I were walking through Walmart at 20 and some 13-year-old told me to fuck myself, I'd be like, well, this gentleman's off his, oh, pardon me, good sir. Shut up.
An agreement right there with him.
Okay, but the guy in the front seat actually.
Yes, I
You're
watched
right, he was
Mr.
the
Rogers as a
reasonable one.
kid,
Right,
but
and the
I don't remember
driver,
any of
He
it.
didn't threaten you in any way, did he?
You're right.
Mr. Rogers and Bob Ross are those types of things that maybe you can only, or at least I can only appreciate as an adult. Because, like, as a kid, Mr. Rogers was just, like, boring to me, although I get his messages and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, meh, I want cartoons.
He did not.
So,
The puppets were weird.
the threat is
Yeah,
gone.
I just liked the
and
trolley.
You decided the best
That was the only part to like, because the puppets were so bad. Like, they were paper mache heads, and their mouths didn't
Yeah.
move, and it was just like the crappy. Like, you could tell, like, you could see Mr. Rogers' pinky and thumb working King Friday.
Yeah, I was pretty
Course of
much just
action
checked
was
in for like
to-
when he sat down and like
Yeah,
took
changes
his-
clothes, feeds the fish, you see trolley, and then
that was
channel surf.
yeah.
correct?
Yes, sir.
And there was lighting around, right?
Yes, sir.
And the front door to the store couldn't have been more than, what, 12 feet away from your car?
Correct.
And so you thought that the best thing to do is to flee.
Or leave.
Which is another
Which
word
is-
for flea, Michael?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
To leave the area.
And you did have your cell phone with you.
Pardon?
You did have your cell phone with you.
Yeah, my cell phone was set on Google Maps, directions to the hotel, but yes, I did.
Okay, but it doesn't take long to get that off, does it? Don't you just push the button?
Right, it's still a phone. Fucking idiot. Yeah, I did have my phone, but it was on like Google Maps. Plus, I had a really kicking YouTube playlist of Bob Seger going. So I wasn't about to harsh that Mel by calling 911 when my gun is literally right there, 14 seconds away, after, 18 seconds of soliloquy about how this is the wrong time to mess with this badass motherfucker, Michael Dunn, in the parking lot. Bam, bam, bam.
Push the button?
No.
Oh man, you've hit strike
And,
2 on
you're
Ryan's list. Said, okay, I sat through your in and out hatred and bit my tongue, but now you're hating on King Friday the 8th and my neighborhood pals. Strike 2, sir.
Ryan, you and I come from different spheres of existence, because if you can look at those puppets and be like, yeah, anything other than just like they're Burger King puppets, man. Come on. Like we get along with the pineapple on pizza
Oh,
thing.
sorry, 13. My bad. It wasn't a V. It was an X.
Friday
My
the
bad.
Friday the 13th. I mean, come on, man. You have to. I mean, you're from a place where you have White Castle, so I realize the grass is always greener. So probably everybody who gets White Castle thinks In-N-Out is the shit. I'm going to tell you, you're wrong. It's not even like an opinion, right? It's like, can you breathe air or water?
Maxwell, when you said that before, Maxwell was like, water is in the air.
Right. Within.
You are familiar with 911, are you not?
Yes, I am.
No.
3 digits, right?
Yes, sir.
You didn't call the police, did you?
No, never did.
No,
Nope.
God. I wanted to call my friend who was a federal marshal of agriculture.
He's got a
You
badge.
just called the police at the store, right?
I didn't call the police at all until the following morning.
That didn't go through your head? Like maybe I just shot at somebody because they pointed a gun at me, I should call the police?
You know,
Nah.
you're right. It sounds crazy, and I couldn't tell you what I was thinking when all this happened. I can just...
But when I picked up my phone, instead of seeing like a badge or like a policeman's cap, I just saw the Little Caesar, and I thought, pizza.
tell you that I didn't do it.
Pizza.
And if you had told me that if this happened to you, you wouldn't call the police, I wouldn't believe you. But that's what happened.
But I mean, you were upset when you left the store, right?
I was in a panic.
Right. And then you got back to the hotel.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
Had to get some
that's
shut-eye.
where we went, like our sanctuary.
And you
Oh, yeah. The hotel's a sanctuary.
Fucking Michael Dunn here acting as like Quasimodo to poor Ron as Esmeralda running through a DoubleTree screaming sanctuary with a fucking Jack and Coke. He falls over into the pool.
you didn't call the police at the hotel, did you?
Nope, same logic or lack of reason.
Lack of. There you go.
It's just what we did.
Mr. Dunn, the reason you left the gas station is because you knew you had shot into a car of 4 unarmed teenagers.
Basically.
That's incorrect.
So you go back to the hotel and you go inside.
Yes,
You take your phone with you?
I believe I did.
Can you
Did
call
you
911?
call the police from the safety of your hotel room?
No, as I said, I didn't call the police until the following morning.
I wanted to wait and see if more red SUVs showed up
Yeah.
so I could shoot them from my window. Like what's the plan? Like you're waiting for the red SUVs and like that's when you're going to call the cops? But like, oh my God, a fleet of red SUVs. I was within my right. It was defense.
Yep.
Help. They're here now. Not like, oh, well, since I definitely emptied the clip into one, we'll see how the rest of the night pans out.
for reasons I couldn't explain why.
I didn't want to go to jail.
And I think you said earlier, and I asked you to pause, that you spent the time looking down, waiting for the red SUV to come back. Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
it was like a waking nightmare.
Did you sit in that hotel and look down
At
and
the
wait
club
for-
room, yeah.
and wait for the red SUV? Right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking down at
Just shivering at that hotel common area, the club room, pool table over there. By the 7th Jack and Coke, my fingers had finally stopped trembling because every pair of headlights was that red SUV that was definitely like fleeing in terror. All right. They get their nuts back up and they go, sure, you shot us up a whole bunch, but now
we're back for more. We have more friends with
we got
red
two
SUVs.
sticks.
Ooh.
Fleet of SUVs, all full of
nightmare
sticks.
is that they would come by.
Yeah. I mean, the SUV had pulled off, right?
Did you throw your like key card out the window?
Right.
Also, like they're gonna be like, oh no, they've tracked us all the way to the DoubleTree. When? How? Who are you, Michael? Like Michael is this high level, super expensive, and by that I mean valuable target that like, you know, people are just like rolling around, like this shit's going down now. Michael Dunn is here.
Look, he knows a guy who works for the Department of Agriculture.
He's
a big man.
It would be like if Wayne Knight in Jurassic Park goes, Dodson, we got Dodson here. And then Dodson like pulls a Glock out and just starts shooting the people at the restaurant he's at. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, I didn't know where they went. I didn't see it again.
You didn't follow the SUV.
No.
They didn't follow you.
I had no knowledge. I mean, it was.
Still have no
So you
knowledge.
I certainly hoped that they hadn't.
So you just thought that somehow they were going to find out where you parked at your hotel.
I know it's not rational. I admit that. That's why I said it was my waking nightmare.
And because you thought.
But that putting it like so stupidly makes me, as a potential jury member, feel like you're an idiot, Michael. A bloodthirsty, cold-blooded murderer idiot. Response?
This car full of gangsters was going to come back, you decided to park in the front of the hotel, right?
I don't recall where I parked.
Did Ms. Rower's testimony refresh your recollection? She said y'all parked in the front.
If that's where she said, we may have parked there, but
If that's what she said, we may have parked there. But remember,
Women.
uterus, right? They ask her for directions and be like,
You'll fall
purses
out.
she knows. Ask her about purses. Rhonda's great with purses. Please don't bother her with stuff like the law or math. She's a lady. She's a woman. Leave her alone.
I didn't consciously park there.
And you put, you left your
unconsciously.
gun in the glove box, right?
Yeah, that was Rhonda's idea because I was going to take it, and she was like, you know.
Hey, if the red SUVs show up to take revenge on us, I want the gun to be in the car. Wait, Rhonda, are you an idiot? Because in my story, I'm Michael Dunn. I need this to protect us from the fleet of red SUVs all full of thugs and their rap crap music. But Rhonda, for some reason, thought you'd be the dangerous one with the gun. Rhonda?
You know,
Where are you?
just kind of weirded out about everything. So I
Totally weirded out. Kenneth Brinkman, right, guys?
took the time to safe it and put it in the glove box.
Right.
Right.
Because you knew nobody was behind you.
Well,
I was weirded out.
I didn't know anything, and like
Still don't. I would say he doesn't know a fucking thing to this day.
I said, the fear while we were up in the club room, I agree
Oh,
it was
in the
irrational,
club.
but this is what we were experiencing.
And when you were at the hotel room, you didn't call 911.
I didn't call the police until the following morning.
You called the pizza man,
We were hungry.
right?
Yeah, I think I mentioned that.
I think I got the meat lovers
Yeah.
special because I mean, look at me.
I
Extra
wanted to get
cheese.
something for Rhonda to eat to
Not
calm
night,
her
not
upset
me.
stomach.
Yeah, I wanted Rhonda to get that pizza in her to calm her down. Like it
Calm
wasn't.
her upset stomach. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it wasn't me. Like I wasn't celebrating the possible murder of a less fortunate child. Let's be real, with a fucking pizza.
Our coupon was going to expire, sir.
Right, like, yeah, that's the thing. Like, he was up there and he's like, oh shit, I can call the police, but pepperoni and pineapple needs to happen tonight, and 15% is 15%. I'll contact the Department of Agriculture tomorrow. He's got a shield and everything.
Yeah. Pepperoni pizza and orange juice.
Fucking. I can't think of a worse combo. Like, whatever. What was he thinking? Orange juice, orange soda. Like, I'll get that. Like a slice or a Fanta with a pizza. Totally fine. But, like, he rolls in with, like, that 16-ounce Sunkist, which is just enough to leave you super thirsty. Idiot.
I used to eat.
I'm going to come back to that.
When I would go pizza
You told the
after
police
school,
that,
if my parents weren't home when I was like whatever middle school, early high school, I would eat Oreos with orange juice because if I drank too much of the milk, I'd get in trouble to drink too much milk because my dad would have it for dinner every night with ice, and if there was no milk, I'd get in trouble. So I'd eat Oreos with orange juice.
This is a sad story. I mean, right? Like, fuck. Because you think, well, maybe you just have a bad, like, taste bud. Like, your olfactory senses are off. You orange juice and chocolate? What the fuck? But then, like, takes it a step further. It's like, well, if I drank too much milk, like the thing that everybody had all the time, you get in trouble? Kid.
One of the reasons you left the station was you were in a strange town,
Right.
in a strange area.
Orlando. Strange as hell. I'm from Fort Lauderdale, sir. I don't know your mysterious ways.
Right.
Even though you live.
Don't talk to
Gross.
that person anymore, Ryan. If they're doing that, cut ties. Listen, this is for your own good.
I hope you're not
off that
talking about
very same
yourself.
road for 2
Guilty.
Like 15 years ago, none of it was familiar.
After a 2-year period, it wasn't familiar to you?
Not really. I went from that apartment to the NAS, and I knew from the apartment to the highway.
So, when you lived here for 2 years, you didn't go anywhere else?
Not really. I had a motorcycle, and it wasn't convenient to drive it around.
What? Around Orlando? Is that what he's talking about?
Where is it inconvenient to drive a motorcycle around? Like I follow a lot of motorcycle content, and like from New York, where it's nothing but congestion, out here to the wild Southwest and all the way up to the middle north, where you've got nothing but open roads. I've never seen someone go like, well, I would have taken my bike, but it's just too darn inconvenient. Like, it's the most convenient. For Michael Dunn's a fucking, like, he's a bizarro human.
You didn't ever take your motorcycle for a ride?
No, I went from the apartment to work.
Isn't that why people have motorcycles?
So you wouldn't ride?
To go for rides?
It is, but that was my only form of transportation at the time.
Well, I guess you didn't have much of a social life then, because you were just going, I guess, from your brother-in-law's house or your brother's house to work and straight back?
Michael Dunn is the type of stupid bitch who buys like a $20,000 Softail, throws $10,000, $15,000 worth of chrome on it, sells it for $6.
Yep. And then on the weekends home.
Yeah, you didn't go anywhere else out in Jacksonville.
Not this way. We were down by NAS.
Okay, Miss Rower said you'd been to that station before. Did she get that right?
I very well could have for fuel.
It's a gas station, so seems pointless to tag that, right? You ever been to this bakery before? Maybe once for bread. Right, like if you showed up for, I don't know, sushi, I'd be like, what? But, you know, I stopped in that gas station maybe once, maybe twice. Got a little gas. No shit. Thing's as thick as a phone book. You hear him
The
flipping
reason
through.
you didn't call the police is because you knew you had committed a crime.
No, sir.
Did you know that somebody had written down your tag number?
No.
Why would you know that, really? Someone's like, hey, I got your license. And he's like, I'm Michael Dunn. Fuck you.
Bye.
All the red SUVs that chase after me, tell them I'm not at the DoubleTree.
Yeah.
Is that why you parked
not
in
in
front of the
room
hotel?
402.
Because you didn't think anybody knew who did it?
The thought had nothing like that came into play.
Yeah, surely.
So you're staring down at the SUV or looking for the SUV without your gun, right?
Correct.
And you take Charlie. You take Charlie outside.
Backwards. We did Charlie first.
Right. But you took him outside, right?
Yes.
Even though
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Yeah, the dog
Charlie?
was before.
First.
so the gangsters
Oh,
might be
sure.
around
My waking nightmare, yes.
without your gun.
Doesn't that feel like someone trying to give themselves a nickname?
Ryan.
They're just like, really like, hey, man, like, come on, man. I thought we all agreed you were going to call me whatever. And everyone's like, no, nobody agreed to that. You said we should all try it. We all thought it was stupid and we did not do it. My waking nightmare. Please, just can you say that once for the jury?
Correct.
Do you mean my waking nightmare? I wouldn't even say yes to that. I would go like, isn't it true that
I fully say that it was a irrational fear, but it was fear.
And you weren't expecting Charlie to protect you, right?
Of course not.
he's pretty tough, but not really. French bulldog, not really a protector. Anyway, you weren't there. You weren't there.
You poured yourself a drink.
Yeah, to calm
my nerves.
Calm my nerves. I poured one for Rhonda too.
Stiff
I
drink.
poured one out for Tupac. I got charged a cleaning deposit because there was whiskey on the floor of the DoubleTree hotel room we stayed in.
Yes,
Alcoholic drink.
with rum.
Is there anything else to Michael?
Did that help you be stoic, I guess?
No, it didn't help calm me down even a little bit. We were
And then you
Shook up.
you turned on a movie?
I don't recall. I know we were watching TV out in the common room, whatever was on.
Right. So you weren't afraid that the gangsters were going to come up into the common area?
You needed a key card to get in.
And no one can get past those key card areas. I mean, that's why you don't hear about what was the last time you heard like, oh, hotel robbed? They're impenetrable. People are always hitting banks and gas stations because there's, you can get in there. Hotels, even if you could get in, how would you get back out? So sly. And P.S., what planet are you living on, man? Like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, it was totally safe. We're like behind those, 10-panel pane glass doors, like where you can obviously see Michael Dunn like slowly getting hammered on like Jack and Cokes, watching tennis. Like some guy like at the window be like, I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker.
Just wait till you come outside.
Key cards cracked.
The elevator.
I'm outside.
So you were in the common area?
For a while, yeah.
Watching TV?
Yeah, whatever was on.
I was so scared I couldn't even tell what was on.
You still haven't called the police, right?
God damn it, I'm so thirsty.
Sustain.
And then at 1 o'clock, your phone. Thank you, Judge.
What about it?
You, I think where we left off, it was somewhere in the middle of the night, and you were still very upset about what happened, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but you
You
didn't
barely
call the
finished the
police
bottle
to
of rum.
alleviate your concerns about the people who might be driving around, right?
We didn't contact law enforcement until the next morning.
I said that 87
Can I have that
times.
screen up? I believe you said that the window on the driver's side in the back was open.
I thought it was. I saw light come through.
Does that refresh your recollection? States 21?
Well, I see the windows up now. At the time, I'm thinking.
Pretty sure they were down. So what probably happened was when I shot the doors, the bullets passed through the metal, phasing through the glass, striking the child behind the door. And then as he was dying, he probably rolled up the windows, totally unshattered by the bullets that passed through through the doors to kill the child. It was rolling them up. It's a cool story, Michael. Seems plausible, believable.
Thinking that it was down, but
Okay.
it was just based on light coming through.
But you're not saying it was
Based
down,
on
right?
light.
I wasn't on that side of the car, so I couldn't say for sure.
All right, but you did say that earlier today. You said
I
It
realized
wasn't on that side of the car. It's on this side.
I was right.
They're looking at the driver's side. If they're looking at that, he was shooting that way.
that's what I said, but it was based on ambient light coming through.
And you said that you don't use the phrase thug music, do you?
It doesn't seem to be a familiar term. If I was going to refer to it, I'd call it rap crap.
That makes me feel like a real big adult. I call it rap crap. I wouldn't call it thug music. That doesn't seem familiar to me. Doesn't ring a bell. I call it rap crap.
At 1 o'clock, you were flipping on your phone there, and you saw that someone had been killed.
Yes, I was actively seeking news.
Right. And when
Like most murderers, after they kill someone, like your Chandler Haldersons, your Leticia Staugs, anybody who's ever had to defend themselves with deadly force waits 8 hours and then starts Googling the fuck out of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when Grant Amato in his famous self-defense case where he had to murder his whole family because they wouldn't give him all their money.
Yeah.
Self-defense, right? He said, give me your money or I'll die. And they said, no. Imminent danger. And he's like, blam, take that, mom, take that, dad, take that, brother who's given me everything he's ever earned. Self-defense. It's the Sylvie defense.
And when you got the news that someone you had shot was dead, you didn't call the police?
No.
No, I went to the bathroom and threw up.
Objection as
Mostly because he had drank too much.
answered, Your Honor.
Overruled.
You did not call the police.
No, I went to the
Now it's
bathroom.
asked and
and
answered, Mr. Guy.
Jesus.
And you've been emotional today, right?
When?
Yeah, for certain topics.
when I was here's the thing you won't see because I'm not going to show you, but when like on direct examination, like, you know, not a tear shed for the kid he shot, but like when he's talking about Charlie and how he had to take a piss because he'd been away for so long and he was stuck in the hotel. Boy, he turned on the waterworks for that. I hope to God someday someone kills me and they don't show any emotion about that, but like maybe they had a parent at home who was like dangerously low on seed. And he goes, I had to get back to Mr. Squawks because he ran out of Brazil nuts. I'm dead.
Did you cry when the news came on that a young boy had been killed?
I don't recall. I know I was
I remember throwing up, but crying, a little hazy.
very upset.
You took a shower?
I was puking sad.
That was at 7 in the morning.
Remembers the time. Remembers throwing up. Did I cry?
That's debatable.
I'll get back to you.
And then you
I was
left town.
vomiting with grief.
We went back home to Sanctuary to contact law enforcement.
The other sanctuary. We have multiple sanctuaries.
Classic Michael. God damn it! What's his name? Why can't I remember the Hunchback's name? He lives in Notre Dame. Somebody, Krista. I've said it a million times. What is the name? Quasimodo. God damn it! Thanks, everybody. Michael Moto here. Sanctuaries ringing his bells. Yeah, thanks, Ryan. It only took you 40 fucking years.
Or I should say.
Okay,
Flag.
you've all
Mr.
worked at
Squawks
Safe
in
Harbor?
our plans.
Again, if you asked me how I would react to a situation like this, I never would have guessed.
That I would shoot a child, go home, eat a pizza, drink myself fucking backwards, keep Googling murder all night long, and then go home and talk to a federal agricultural agent.
How we did or what we did. So when you're questioning me whether I contacted Duval, it makes sense that I should have. We didn't. I couldn't tell you why.
Are the police
Mostly because I didn't want to go to jail for murder.
I wanted one more night in our hotel
different
sanctuary.
in Satellite Beach than they are in Duval County?
Well, I had a neighbor in federal law enforcement that was personally
go.
known to me. So in that respect, yes.
Do it.
I had-
Okay, but he's not a police officer, right?
He's a police officer, right? What is he, Michael?
Say
Michael,
it. Do it.
Mr. Duval. What is he? What?
It's federal law enforcement.
Okay. He doesn't work in Jacksonville, does he?
No,
Oh,
So he wouldn't have been handling your
Damn.
shooting, right?
correct. I really wasn't worried about.
so he's out of his jurisdiction. He's still a federal agent, for all that you know.
Right.
He's a federal agent just outside of his jurisdiction. He could still be useful to Mr. Dunn.
The law, sir, self-defense, you can't change it into murder. So whether I waited 10 hours or 10 days, it didn't matter. I had other concerns at the time, and that was
Typically, self-defense people go, hey, I just killed someone in self-defense. They don't wait a month, let a fortnight pass by, you know, get halfway into constructing a new house and go like, boing.
I forgot to do
Hey,
the thing.
so like, where are we? So 8 months ago, I shot a guy in self-defense. Oh, cool. Yeah, it was totally self-defense. He said, I'm going to kill you, bitch, and I felt threatened. Oh, that's all you need? Okay, thanks. Bye. Never, ever, ever.
Ryan says it's interesting. Both he and Gypsy are responsible for murder, then went to hide in a hotel and eat pizza, and they both have terrible voices.
Right, but in this case, like, Michael here would have to get Rhonda to kill these kids.
Right.
And like, you know, there's no relationship there, and she's not going to do that. I don't feel like she's a bad person.
No.
She just
and that
dated
was
one.
surrounding my fiance.
It didn't matter to...
It didn't matter in the present mind that I was in.
It mattered to you?
I guess that's good for the dead kid.
Or who did it matter to?
It didn't matter to me in the state of mind I was in.
Who did it
You
matter
had killed a
to?
17-year-old boy and that didn't matter to you?
In self-defense, and whether I called the police that night or the next morning, didn't
You gonna
seem,
finish that? There you go.
You know, it wasn't going to change it from self-defense to anything else.
You were concerned.
It's like someone's first showing at the Olympics, and they're on the high bar, and they do maybe a somersault, and they do a cartwheel, and they look very uneasy and unsure of themselves, and then they finish their routine by coming off the bar and snapping both of their ankles, and then like trying to like stand up straight to do like the whole like, but like their bones are sticking out of their skin. And there's Michael like, well, I thought they were darker than me. Your Honor, he's being mean, and they were not white.
Concerned about Charlie?
I was concerned about Rhonda.
What about Charlie?
Didn't you?
Right, because Rhonda was really upset by the music, even though you said, I hate that thug crap. And she goes, yeah, I know. Now shut the fuck up. I've got to get a couple of bottles of Screw Top. Like, right? She wasn't like afraid for her life that the bass was going to infiltrate the gas station and blast her head open. Like,
we got to get back to our sanctuary with our booze.
It wasn't like she was one of the Mars Attacks bubblehead people. It was just like when she hears the music, her head's going to pop like a gusher.
Didn't you tell the sheriff's office that you wanted to get Rhonda and the dog back before the shitstorm came down?
Sure.
Sure, yeah.
Sure.
You couldn't.
I said, let me let my dog take a shit before my life takes a shit.
You couldn't have called one of your family members to take your dog?
I'm sure we could have done a lot of things, but again, we didn't. And it kind of describes the state of mind we were in.
Okay, well,
I'm
not asking about we. I'm asking about you.
Well, it was both of us.
I don't give a shit about Rhonda.
Right,
she didn't shoot anybody.
I'm not asking, like, right. Well, it wasn't just me. It was both of us. How frustrated would you be if you were like, hey, you want to see the game later? And their answer was like, I don't know if we'll be available. And you go, who's we? You don't want to hang out with that person. And in a professional setting like this, you're forced to keep dealing with them.
I'm asking about your decisions, not anybody else's.
Okay.
So any of those people in that family picture we saw there this week, you couldn't call those people to take care of the dog?
I could have called any number of them, but I did not.
Right.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda, didn't happen. Classic Amy Day.
And Rhonda Rower's an adult, right?
I think.
Yes, she is.
She could take care of herself, right?
Sure.
Except for self-defense.
I mean, but her uterus.
The uterus. It's a big deal.
She's so confused all the time. She didn't hear me say gun 47
earlier
times.
that you never, or that you did tell Rhonda Rower that there was a gun, that they had a gun.
Back here
Is that what
again?
you said?
Doesn't he look a little bit like the
Gary Busey?
melting, on top of Gary Busey, but like from, if you remember what he looked like at the beginning of this cross till now, it looks like he's made of wax. He's Abraham Lincoln. It's Washington, D.C., and it's slowly climbing into the 90s.
Uh-huh.
Like pretty soon his fat head is just going to slump back and then he's going to go, no further questions.
Yes.
Okay, do you remember writing Rhonda Rower a letter?
I wrote
about the
Rhonda
events?
several letters.
Okay, do you remember one on
Second
Wednesday,
letters.
December 5th of 2012?
I
No.
did not.
Would it refresh
Why
your
would you?
memory to see it?
Sure.
Sure, why not? Give it the fuck
Judge,
to me.
if I could hand the witness what's been marked for identification as
Objection. Aggressive letter passing. Sustained.
8U.
Yes, sir.
F-U.
If they have a copy,
Sorry?
I don't know what they're handing if they have a copy.
Oh, for you? Okay.
Well, I don't have an additional copy.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if I had one, bitch.
Didn't you get this in Discovery? Like, I feel like this doesn't happen, right? They can't just, like, pull shit out of nowhere. Like, how many Law & Order SVU episodes have we seen where they go, we got this evidence. Oh, it's too late. This guy's just like, waha, like he's working the boardwalk, pulling magic rabbits out of a hat.
With Shabusiness, it happened.
I'm sure maybe it does, but, like,
It's probably not very often because, like, this was probably they found these things after he was already in jail.
It
and all
just
that
seems so
bullshit.
futile for, like, the defense to be, like, so urgent to be like, I don't know what he's handing him. Like, hey, wait
a minute.
Like, this is going to be the Hail Mary. Like, the defense attorney gets this and he goes, aha, a winning strategy.
Yeah, because for him, he handed it to him first, but like with Shabusiness's thing, he gave it to the defense person, the state before, like.
Well, that was Wisconsin.
That's true.
So who knows?
Is that it? Yep, okay.
But P.S. also, like, wouldn't a good defense attorney, like, gather up all the correspondence that would be privy to prosecution? Like, I wouldn't want my defense attorney, as I'm being cross-examined, to be like, hey, excuse me, what is that? Hello?
Sir, would you read that first paragraph to yourself and see if that refreshes your recollection?
Read it silently while I read it aloud.
You told Rhonda Rower there was a gun?
Still reading. Hold on.
It's a long paragraph.
Reading. And reading. Words.
Is this a whole page of a paragraph?
He took her roughly by the shoulders and kissed her deep. Wait, what is this?
I wrote here.
Oh, God,
it's the
thank
state's
you.
erotic novel.
That I cannot recall
Wait, this is a Nancy Brophy book. This is the wrong boner.
if I ever conveyed the details of my decision making to you.
Is that your letter?
Yes.
Okay, it hadn't been altered, has it?
I wouldn't know. I don't have a original.
Okay,
Whoa. You're looking at a photocopy. Does it seem fucked with, dude? I don't know.
You wrote it, right?
Oh, yeah, I guess that's how I can do a check.
Fair and accurate copy?
Sure.
Judge, can I move this in? It states, I think we're 202.
I think it is 202.
Yeah.
Mr. Stroller?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, I'll be received as State's Exhibit 202.
Just toss it up to the judge like a frisbee. There you go, Your Honor.
Thank you. Hand that back to you. You now got 202 in front of you. Ask you to turn your attention to the front page. Did you not write, in passing, he mentioned in passing that I had made no mention of a gun to you.
Huh.
Right, so what's your point?
What?
Dude, the jury's right there. The jury is right there. Right, so what's your point? Well, you have irrefutable evidence of something that I made a lie about. So what? Jury?
Anything?
Is that what it says?
Is that not what it says?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so...
Uh-huh. What was that about? Is that not what it says? Is that what it says? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, was that just a glitch in the Matrix?
You didn't tell
It's rebooting.
Rhonda Rower about a gun.
That's not what this says. This says somebody else told me that she said she didn't remember me mentioning the gun. That's a lot different from me not mentioning a gun to her.
Okay, so you're going to stick with the fact that you didn't, that you told her about a gun.
Pardon?
You're going to stick with
That was
your account
coughing.
that you told her about a gun multiple times.
Yes.
She says no, but
And to be sure, you were not injured that night, right?
Correct.
Your car was not damaged?
Not to my knowledge.
You,
not to my knowledge.
you pulled the trigger 10 times, right?
Yes, sir.
Each time you pull the trigger, I mean, it's a 6 1/4 pound trigger pull, right?
Which is a lot. Like, if you guys don't know, trigger pulls on guns, a lot of them have basically nothing because a lot of safety features are built into whatever. So they can have a hair trigger because, like, it can't go off if you drop it or anything else like that. But like a 6 pound trigger pull, I mean, you're going to feel that every fucking time. So he's going to get into it. But that's like a reality check. Like, it's like swinging a pickaxe. It takes a substantial amount of effort. So you go like, well, I just lost track. Like, I just started hoeing a field and 40,000 whacks with that Maddox. I just didn't even realize I was doing it. You would fucking know. And plus, it's loud.
That's what I heard testified.
Does that
Yes.
sound right?
No?
I don't know what. I don't know what it would be.
Well, you've had that gun at that point for 22 years?
I guess.
Sure, but I had never had the trigger pull.
So you'd own that gun for like, what, 4 or 5 years longer than that kid had been alive that you killed him with? You weren't acquainted with it? It's a great way to tag this story, Michael.
All right, but it's not a hair trigger, right?
Correct.
To expel
hair on
one
it at
bullet,
all.
you've got to pull the trigger one time.
That should give you an idea how much of a panic I was in, that I was able to pull it 10 times without knowing how many times I pulled it.
Dying.
Are you saying you did it by reflex then?
No, I did it in sheer panic and fear for my life.
It was sheer panic from my waking nightmare.
Right.
Would you agree?
Jury?
Anyway.
While you were aiming directly into the door of a car that was moving?
I was aiming it into a door that was stationary, and the car moved in front of me, and I didn't even realize it was moving.
Well, how about when the car drove away and you took that stance and hit it 3 times?
Right, again, that wasn't just fear for my life, that was fear for my life and Rhonda's at that point.
Whenever she could have shown back up. Because again, like she was in the fucking store and all this was happening. Like she wasn't even on, like she shouldn't have been on his mind. But the defense attorney put this fucking gold nugget into his head to be like, yeah, you weren't just protecting yourself from that horrible music that was threatening your life. You were also saving Rhonda from that music as she was purchasing $3 bottles of wine from a cooler next to some Gatorade.
Was it panic then? I mean, when you were aiming, that was just a lucky shot that you hit it 3 times?
I pointed, I didn't aim. I didn't use the sight. It was,
Yeah, I mean, guns aren't super dangerous, so if you just fire in the direction,
yeah,
no harm, no foul, right? Like, so what? Like an old lady got hit by one of your bullets. Like, walk it off, bitch. Like, I was aiming in so far that I was looking and/or those blobs.
My eyes were open
Guns
somewhere.
aren't dangerous, guys. As long as you're white, you can just fire indiscriminately because you can just go self-defense and castle doctrine. Oh wait, maybe
yes,
that doesn't
it
work.
was panic.
Well, you'd have to admit then that you're pretty lucky then, right? I mean, because gosh, you're not even aiming at a moving car and you hit it 3 times.
Golly.
I wouldn't call it luck.
What would you call
Like, if that cough could have been supplanted by like a cricket, it would have been comedy gold.
It wasn't that far away. I don't know what to tell you, but you know, like how a pistol has sights on it, I wasn't using sights.
So here's the thing. If it wasn't luck, what would you call it? It would definitely be something that's like a single word. I wouldn't call it I had luck. I'd say it was misfortune. It was tragedy. It was circumstances beyond my control, if you want to get fancy. But I wouldn't go like, I wouldn't call it luck. What would you call it? I was just firing. I didn't look down the sights. Reckless. I was reckless with a firearm. There you go.
Perfect.
It wasn't luck. I was being reckless and dangerous. So 2. It's a double header.
Each time you pull the trigger, it's a conscious decision to fire, right?
In the situation I was in,
Yes.
I consciously pulled the trigger once. Everything after that was just panic.
So you weren't conscious when you were pulling the trigger the other times?
Well, I wasn't like at a target
I was,
range
like,
where you pull the
sleeping.
trigger once every second and you're paying attention to where you're aiming and all that.
Like there's no loud music and it's just cardboard. So like, the color's right at least. I'm firing at the right sort of thing. But there's none of that, oh, my eardrum's vibrating from the... God damn it. I don't want to ever be one of these old people. Like, I don't care if you don't like the music. Just say it. Just say that. Don't be like it's an affront to whatever, like it's endangering you or causing you any undue stress. Like, we all get annoyed. That doesn't mean you get to like justify homicide. Be like, I was finally, like, you've heard loud music before. I'd finally had enough.
Yeah.
I just watched this one interrogation. This guy, like, and it's so fresh. All the details are lost to me except for like the super broad stuff. But like this guy, his neighbor was playing loud music. This is how he justifies it, right? His neighbor was playing loud music. So he went for a walk in the park. At the same time, this woman was taking her jog through the park. And because the dude's neighbor's music was so loud, he decided to pounce on this woman and, strangle her and punch her in the face a whole bunch and essay her and leave her disheveled, nude and dead in a public park for just anybody to find, be they man, woman, or child. And it was loud music, right? The music was so loud, he just had to throw his humanity into a meat grinder, essentially.
Of course.
So loud. That bass, my ears. And before you know it, you're mounting some poor stranger after punching them to death.
Good night, Ryan.
It's loud. Take it easy, Ryan.
That wasn't the case here. This was a panic moment where, as I testified, I had a young man threatening to kill me multiple times, getting out of the car saying it was going down now.
His feet were kicking, and there was a barrel, and they were driving away, and I was like, "You'll never take me alive, you son of a bitch," as they were just a red dot on the horizon.
And getting out with a weapon. So I was in sheer terror.
So when you got out of the car,
I was still in sheer terror.
and
Will you please agree to my waking nightmare, please?
repositioned yourself and took aim at the car again, that wasn't a conscious decision to fire?
Yes, it was. And when I pointed at the car, yes.
But the trigger, stupid. Pointing the gun, I was conscious, right? But every time I pulled the trigger, that was unconscious. So, like, the cool part where I was like, yeah, not today, bitch. But, like, every point at which I was committing a crime, involuntary.
Yeah.
Judge? Jury?
Each of those last 3 times?
Right, and as I
stated.
As I recall, it was like to shoot once, but obviously I did shoot 3 times. So you can imagine the
However, next question. Sure, he's dead. Can I go home?
Mr. Dunn, you've said several times throughout the course of the day that you didn't call the police until the next morning. Are you talking about the morning of the 24th?
Several times.
Yes, sir.
Who was it that you called?
Here we
Can you
go.
tell me the name of the officer?
I don't remember his name, but he was here yesterday. And I didn't call him personally. He was called on my behalf.
Okay.
What?
This is where the part gets fucking stupid, because his plan, again, he said, I want to go, at least he told us to the interrogators, and there's some bizarre form of that going on here, but he wanted to go back where he was comfortable, talk to his friend who would contact. So the whole thing was like, he wanted to be in control. So he was going to find the right person to reach out to, right? So he was going to be the driving force. Did that come true? Let's listen.
Okay. And is it your testimony that you called Ken Lescalet?
Yes.
Wasn't that the law enforcement officer you were talking about?
Well, at 8:30 in the morning, I called him, and then I went.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Right.
Is that who you called? Well, at 8:30 in the morning.
And spoke with him and asked him to contact law enforcement on my behalf.
Stupid.
Your phone number at the time was 772-201-1362.
Let's call it. Just kidding.
Correct. And that's the 202 phone number that I called at 8:30.
Right. 202-365-8150.
Yeah, it's a Washington, D.C. number.
Okay, would it refresh your recollection to explain who called who, whether or not you called him,
Your Honor,
who called you?
Judge, if I can object, improper predicate, can we approach?
Predicate? Like, this is not conjunction junction, dude. Like, here's the thing. The crux of it is he didn't call the dude proactively. Dude called him. And not for any real reason. And any reason, we'll find out about it. It's a party. He called asking him over for dinner, and he's like, oh, by the way, shot a bunch of kids.
Ay.
Back to your desks, and game on. It's powered down. Really melting now, Jesus.
Yeah.
All right, the objection's overruled. Mr. Guy?
Mr. Lescalet is with the Department of Agriculture.
Yes.
That's what you meant by federal law enforcement?
He is. He's got a shield and everything. He's 001.
Can I?
Number 1.
He's 001.
He's the first person ever.
Doesn't, like, on what planet would you be the luckiest person ever to get, like, the first badge? And not only that, the first badge in, like, modern day.
Right.
Like, did they just create his department and they go, hey, good news, Les Gallet. You get badge number 001. You're the first agricultural agent of Fort Lauderdale or fucking Jacksonville or wherever.
Yeah.
Serial number 001. Les Gallet, agricultural agent. I've got a shield and everything. Hey, Michael, do you want to come over for dinner? Sure, I shot some black kids. Oh my God, did you call the police? No, will you do it? I feel like I have to now. Click.
Yeah, right. I am like a mandatory
Can I,
reporter.
Refresh your recollection with your phone records as to
Like, this is a little more than tomato worms, but I feel like I'm going to go rogue on this and call the police for you, Michael.
the call, who called who?
You may.
All right, you may.
Judge, if I can approach the witness.
Yes, sir.
I want you to look at the
bitch.
call. First of all, does those appear to be your phone records?
Hypothetically, they could have been tampered with, allegedly.
Yes, that's my phone number.
Okay. You see the call highlighted at 8:30? Mm-hmm. Do you see the last column on the right where it says calling party?
No.
Right?
It's highlighted. It's a single line. What do you think took him so long, right? You see all the way on the right, it says calling party. You can almost see his head go.
It's buffering.
Almost. Oh, yeah, there it is, right there at the right. It's 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. It's not like you were searching the Great Wall of China for somebody's initials, you stupid
Okay, that's
bastard.
Mr. Les Galet's number, right?
Right? That's where he called me,
Oh,
I guess.
Right. So you didn't
I
call him.
guess.
Well, what's the 904 number?
Doesn't matter.
I just asked you about the number on the right, the calling party. Does that refresh your memory as to who called who?
Yeah.
Oh, calling party, gotcha.
It's still there on the, like, it's a single highlighted line. He said he saw it. We made peace with
Right.
that. Here we are, 40 seconds have elapsed, and he goes, oh, there it is.
Huh.
Have you ever, like, played or, like, looked in a book of Where's Waldo with some friends, and you go, oh, I got it. And the one friend who definitely hasn't got it goes, oh, yeah, there he is. And then, you know, attention sort of drifts and we forget about the book. And then that person who says, oh, yeah, there he is, goes, oh,
There he is.
right. You kind of feel had a little bit, right?
Yes, sir.
So it was Mr. Les Galet who called you at 8:30 on the morning of the 24th.
Apparently so.
Apparently.
And you did not
I meant to call him because he is a federal agricultural
Yeah.
liaison.
He's important.
He's got a shield and
001.
everything.
talk about a fact that you didn't mention to him that you had a problem in Jacksonville
Wait.
that you needed to talk to him about.
I spoke to him at 8:30 in the morning. My apologies. I thought I called him, but I spoke to him
And
to inquire whether or not he was going to be at home because I had an important matter to speak with him. And I did not get into detail about what it was about or where it happened.
Isn't it true that he called you to see if you and Rhonda Rower could go out that night?
I think it was something in the afternoon.
And you told him,
oh, well, there you go. Innocent. Sorry, not guilty. See, I was going to call him. He called me. But it's a good thing he did call because I did tell him I wanted to talk about something.
Yeah, it was on my to-do list.
But that wasn't until after he asked me if he wanted to go square dancing, maybe mid-afternoon, possibly early evening. But by the time we were finished square dancing, 9:30, 10 o'clock at the latest, I would have said, hey, Les Galet, agricultural federal agent, I committed murder. What should I do? But I wanted to break in those new boots, right? We just got back from my son's wedding.
that the answer was no, Rhonda Rower wasn't feeling well.
I don't recall that aspect of the conversation.
You never said
That
anything to
part.
Mr. Les Galet about wanting to talk to him about something.
Yes, I did. I asked if he was going to be home, and I had something important to talk to him about.
That's just vague enough to be like anywhere from, let's say, murdering a child to like
A tax
asking
question.
about your brake lines or like
Yeah.
where the best deal on spark plugs is. Hey, got something real important I got to ask you. I'll talk to you in person later. Don't worry about it. It's not important enough that I need to talk about it over the phone. Just know we're out for square dancing, but I'll be over later. You know what I mean?
Judge, that's all I have. Thank you.
Judge, can I just have one moment, please?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That's
Very
better.
briefly,
Thank you,
Mr.
sir.
Dunn, are you a custodian of records for that call log?
Yeah,
No,
great.
I'm not.
Did it appear there were other phone numbers that Mr. Guy was showing you that isn't your number?
Yes.
Okay. Is it possible the calling party is the party that you actually called?
Good Honor, object to that was called for speculation.
Sustained.
Right. If you're going to go ahead and say, like, is it true you're not the custodian of records? So isn't it true then you just blasted your dude's credibility? So you have no authority over this piece of paper? Yeah, totally. None. So isn't it true that it could... what? He can't. You just shot him dead in the foot.
Again, do you know how to read that call log?
No.
Okay.
He couldn't even follow a single
Right.
line of highlighted data. I guarantee he doesn't know anything about this call log, nor is he a custodian of records.
Do you work for the phone company?
No.
Do you even have a 904 number?
No.
Is there a 904 number on that where Mr. Guy refreshed your recollection?
Yes, there was.
Do you
Innocent?
even know where that number came from?
No.
Can you look at the top of the page and tell me what it says over that 904?
I don't have it anymore.
Mr. Guy.
Fucking douchebag took it away from me.
Judge, if I can approach Mr. Dunn?
It's
Yes, sir.
annoying that he has the same last name as Joel Guy Jr. because they called him Mr. Guy the whole time too.
Can you look at that 904 and tell me what it says at the top of that page?
Dial digit?
Did you dial a 904 number?
Not at 8:30 in the morning.
Right.
So let's say hypothetically, as your defense lawyer, had you called him instead of him calling you, you still gave no detail and said you couldn't go square dancing, but it was you who called him.
Yeah, you did it.
Maybe, even though you can't speak to that because you aren't a custodian of records, isn't that true? As a jury member, I'd go like, dude, sit the fuck down.
Well, let's just end this day.
Like, you think at the 11th hour when it's like 37 to -4, you're going to be like, oh, whoa, like this isn't a Marx Brothers movie where Harpo can pull out 9 footballs from his pants and they're just going to count them as touchdowns. My dude.
Did you have a 904 cell phone?
No, not at the time.
Do you have any knowledge of why this record was created with the words on it that says call anything? Do you have any knowledge of how this was created or why?
No.
Do you know who
I assume evidence against me, but I'm not going to say that.
created it?
No.
Anyway,
I like to poll the jury to see if anyone gave a fuck about that. No, 12 no's? All right, sorry.
Judge, again, if I could just have a brief moment, I apologize.
Sure.
Yeah, take your time. Let's really stretch this, get our legs stretched out, really live in this cross-examination. Tom Bosley, check in. Still there?
Mr. Guy, I think your mic's still on.
Oh, shit.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Judge. I think he's a fucking idiot. Approach. Moron. Step back. I think he's fucking.
Now, Mr. Dunn,
I think it's in the bag. Mr. Guy?
when Mr. Guy talks about that common area, and he kept saying common area in your hotel, do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Could you explain to the jury where that common area is in the hotel?
The middle?
It's on the top floor right as you exit the elevators. It's like the entrance to the hallway has a couch and a
TV.
seating area
Where was your room located?
right down the hall.
And is that on a secure floor where you can't get to without having a pass key to get in?
Yes, it was.
It's the Fort Knox of overnight stays.
Do you recall Mr. Guy saying that Rhonda's a grown woman and can take care of herself?
I remember.
Was she in a condition that night to take care of herself?
Not at all.
Was she?
Did ever a fleet of red SUVs descend upon your DoubleTree and try to take you You know, either from under a bed or anywhere else in your room? No? Damn.
In a condition the next day to take care of herself?
Not at all.
Was she in a condition worse off than we saw her testify the other day?
Very much so.
All she experienced was hearing a loud noise and coming out to see you standing in the parking lot holding a gun. Like, the implication, sure, is terrible, but like, she's a grown woman and all she did was hear loud noises and know that you killed the child, or at least highly suspect. You are the one who did the killing. And like, again, this just feels more like this whole 50s, like if it were a pot roast, she'd be able to handle it. But loud noises made her, you know, her diaphragm went all crazy and her breasts flew all over the place. And now she's all discombobulated. You know,
I gotta put her back together.
Like she's
again.
a fainting goat who like is out of commission for 3 days. Like you kick a basketball at them and they go, bleh. And it's 72 hours before they're functional again. That's women for you, right, guys?
Now, Mr. Guy also said, again, that you were trying to be stoic for Rhonda. Do you recall those questions?
I do.
Have you read the Meditations by Marcus
Were you
Aurelius?
as calm as you are today?
No.
Nice.
Were you calm as are you sitting at the table next to me?
No.
Just real quick, if you know this reference, this guy looks like Congressman Ralph Shorty, who went to go meet a minor in a hotel room and smoke some substances.
Were you as calm as when you were sitting at your son's wedding table?
No.
I wasn't shooting
Were you
anybody
as
there.
calm- Let me rephrase that.
Go for it.
What was your mental state that day?
It was a waking nightmare. I was terrified. Rhonda was a hysterical woman, not a human. She was a hysterical woman. And the bass was so loud, my ears had shaken. I mean, people get PTSD from less, right? Loud music and dealing with a woman while having some rum and cokes? Whoa!
It's a big day.
Jesus, dude. Seek therapy.
The next morning.
I was, it was like an out-of-body experience, trying to, process what happened. We were,
Eating pizza.
we were upset when it was just a shooting, and now that we found out there was a fatality,
We were upset that it was a shooting. And then when we found out that we had committed a fatality, we were both responsible for a fatal shooting. Rhonda, because I was protecting her. Like, she should share, right?
Yeah, we could split our life sentence.
It's an act of defense in concert. Like if I were defending myself in a bank, taking some money out, and she was defending me by driving us away, it's an act of self-defense in concert. Rhonda, go to jail.
we were just crazy with grief.
Let me ask you this.
Just crazy in love. Our son is married. Fiance. Charlie's in the air. I can't take any more of this. Tell you what, guys, here's the thing. Obviously, it's all bullshit. He went to jail, is still there to this day. I think he's going to get out, or like, if I remember, because all these details are lost to me, but I think it's like 2050s, 2060s, he'll be eligible for parole, if that's a thing, if I'm right, which I'm probably not because it's late. But that being said, we got to see there were some stark differences, but mostly just like an embellishment of other things and a diminishing of some things. Because like what Michael thought was going to be good for him was obviously not what his lawyer thought.
Right.
Because that's, like with all the Michaels, Dredka, Dunn, everybody who has one of those stand their ground laws and feels totally justified, whether it's as uninvolved as this, like just shooting someone as they drive away, or like that old dude who got tired of the kids breaking into his house, so he like tortured a couple of them for a few days in self-defense.
Yeah.
Like the law will recognize some things, but once you go off the deep end and or there was no reason to jump off the board in the first place, they're going to go, well, we've got some questions.
This is questionable.
Like just because you're an insecure idiot and you're scared of other cultures or music or people or food or noises, even in some cases, like doesn't give you the right to do literally anything, I guess, because you can say, well, I felt threatened. I feel threatened all the time. Like, life is a threatening thing. Like, everything around you is threatening to take you out all the time. So if you don't feel threatened, that's weird. But you have to like also live in, reality isn't a thing, but like on the right area of the spectrum, because what you think is reasonable typically isn't. And if 3 other people say it isn't, start rethinking. But that's part of it too, is like we don't run our opinions up enough flagpoles to get a good sample size. And if the people like whatever, the face tattooed van owning brothers who are going to snatch up kids, when your only echo chamber is someone who thinks that all your weird perverted shit is A-okay.
Right. But
that's not what we want to hear. We don't want to hear the things that we think are weird or wrong or whatever. It takes the very strong of us to go like, not only to like seek out advice, but like if it's counter to our beliefs, to actually take it and like give it some weight. But like, how many people would have to like talk to Michael Dunn to be like, don't do anything, Michael. Like, don't just go home, right?
Just go to your sanctuary.
There's nothing you can do about that. Be your own little Quasimodo Dunn and ring your bells and, listen to Bob Seger and don't worry about that horrible thug music or rap crap.
Right.
But people are unpredictable, and you start throwing variables like courage multipliers of guns, and you amplify it with like the courage multiplier of booze, and throw it into like, a long weekend where you're feeling fancy free. Like, I don't know, man. There's so many times where, people for more, I don't know, I don't want to say more justifiable reasons, but for more seeming justification, I've seen people go like, I wish I could take it back.
Yeah.
Not once did Michael go, I wish I could take this back. And it wasn't justifiable at all. Like, there are people who are like, I wish I could take it back. And they were like being assaulted at actual cases of self-defense. They go, I wish it didn't have to happen. Whereas Michael just, heard some Bone Thugs and Harmony, blasted a kid to the grave and could have killed his friends. And it's like, would he take it back? And he's like, ask me later. I'm still on the fence about that shit.
Yeah.
Like, I really love shooting him, but now that I have to like go to jail, I'm like, was it worth it?
Debatable.
Anyway, that's it for you guys. Thank you for showing up. We'll be back. Probably do some more training video, because just training video. Subscribe to the channel. Thanks for that. If you're out there watching it, why would you be? But like, we'll maybe go over more of that, because they are on an uploading spree, and I love it. So, whatever. It's late. Smell you later, guys. See you on the next episode and all that other good shit. Adios.
Bye.
Try to